If you are, I'm back on Facebook, by the way. If your campaign is in decline, hoping that this month will be the record-setting campaign fundraising month, it ain't going to happen. All right, just quite simply not going to happen. So why even bother? But here she is.
Raise money from deep-pocketed donors.
Oh, yes.
Some candidates are probably doing that this week. But
you prefer the shallow-pocketed donors, the college students that only have $6. And by the way, somebody mentioned this to me yesterday. I hope that person didn't have a checking account, because you usually have to keep like $10 in it.
Relying on grassroots donors like you. So here's the deal. Go to ElizabethWarren.com and pitch in $5 or $10, whatever you can. And let's enter this next phase of the race in the best possible position to win.
Okay, well, you're already in the worst possible place to win, because you were like in 5th place in Iowa and 5th place in New Hampshire. So you're not in the best possible place to win. And no amount of money, unfortunately, is going to help that. All right? She raised $6 million in 10 days since Iowa. Amy Klobuchar raised about nearly half that amount in 4 hours after she finished in 3rd place on Tuesday night in New Hampshire. So, yeah, Elizabeth Warren, 5th place in Iowa and New Hampshire. Okay? Now, one of their high-profile campaign surrogate said that she's done. She doesn't have a lane. Diehard progressives went with Bernie when they saw his health care wasn't lasting, the surrogate. And she wouldn't be the woman citrus candidate with Klobuchar already there. Apparently, there's a new thing called Clomentum. That's, I guess, I used to be Joe Mentum when Joe Biden has run in whatever race he's ever been in. I think he's run for president like 7 times. Anyway, so now it's called Clomentum, which Clomentum sounds like something you take for a sexually transmitted disease. I was like, do you have chlamydia? You need Clomentum. It's kind of that. Little kind of. I'm sure that caused a couple of spit takes with regard to coffee being consumed in the area, listening to the show. This is kind of funny. Pete Buttigieg was in a town hall with Latino voters yesterday, and he decided to show off his Spanish skills. Because, this is how Democrats pander. And a little bit later in the show, we will talk a little bit more about Joe Biden, how he's plummeted in popularity with African Americans. Who knows what the reason is? I think a lot of it has to do with Donald Trump, and a lot of it has to do with his son and Ukraine and all that stuff. But for some odd reason, Joe Biden is plummeting with African Americans, so he did the best thing he could when he went to New Hampshire. He hired a black gospel choir to sing in his town hall, clapping their hands and everything. And then he quoted a Negro spiritual in his new campaign ad, which he lifted from Hillary Clinton, which she didn't plagiarize. She actually quoted this author who wrote the song, and then he basically plagiarized Hillary Clinton, who was quoting this guy. So he did that, and it's not working. Because, see, people are smarter than that. And I think, honestly, the whole Democrat message at this point to African Americans is convoluted at best, insulting at best. I mean, it's wow. So here's Pete Buttigieg butchering some Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Je parle français. Yeah, I wasted a couple years of college learning French that I've never actually used before. Although, I tried it on Valentine's Day with my wife. Je t'adore. She goes, yeah, shut the door. It's cold in here. No, that means I love you. Anyway, here's Pete Buttigieg speaking in Spanish very poorly, and the audience laughing at him.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the chance to join you. Gracias por invitarnos para hablar.
I think you just ordered a number 2 combo meal, the Doritos Locos Tacos.
This evening, and I bring greetings from South Bend.
Let's hear that again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the chance to join you. Gracias por invitarnos para hablar this evening.
It says, thank you for bringing shoes for my dog. I think he accidentally said that. He didn't even know what he was saying, but that's what he said. I'm not even sure what he was trying to say. Many of the crowd in North Las Vegas laughed at Buttigieg, prompting him to blame his stumble on a lack of sleep on the campaign trail. Not quite sleeping enough, but delighted to be with you. He didn't say that in Spanish, though. Buttigieg appeared at the League of United Latin American Citizens Presidential Town Hall to talk about his campaign. The mayor has been stepping up his Espanol. See what I did there? That means Spanish in Spanish. Anyway, Espanol, ahead of the Nevada caucuses where the electorate is more Latino. We celebrate your belonging in this country, and yes, your country is your this country is your country too, he said in Spanish. Oh, that must have been what he said. Hold on one second. Anybody who speaks Spanish, can you tell me here? Let's try this again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the chance.
Should have said gracias. I know that.
To join you. Gracias por invitarnos para hablar this evening. And I bring greetings from South Bend.
Oh, okay. South Bend, by the way, which is the fourth largest municipality in the state of Indiana, which is according to my good friend Chris Plant, who's a syndicated talk show host, about the size of the Villages retirement community in Florida. And by the way, fourth behind the fictional town of Pawnee, Indiana, in the TV show Parks and Recreation. That's what I've heard. It's fourth in line after the fictional town Pawnee in Parks and Recreation, which if you haven't binge watched, you should watch that show. If just for Ron Swanson and Chris Pratt. My God, it's funny. So anyway, later in the evening, Boot Edge Ed successfully answered some questions in Spanish, earning cheers from the audience. And here's Amy Klobuchar, actually, speaking to a group of Spanish-speaking voters. I believe this was last night in a forum as well. Let's go ahead and hear this.
Do we have any Mexican Americans with us today? Well, buenos dias.
All right, there you go. So that was Amy Klobuchar. Let's hear that again. There she is speaking Spanish.
Do we have any Mexican Americans with us today? Well, buenos dias.
There you go. And the crowd was right with her, wasn't laughing at her at all. Just right in there. I just love this pandering thing. You know, I speak okay French, you know, just because I took it in high school and then I went to college and it was like a double major. I tested out of most of the majors, so I just did French too. Communications and French. That makes a lot of sense. I've never been to France, by the way. But I wouldn't speak to in New Orleans, I wouldn't attempt to speak French or whatever. Patois. I don't know what they speak, but I wouldn't attempt to do it. Bonjour. Honestly, that's kind of, don't you think that's kind of insulting? Isn't it kind of like the quoting from the Negro Spiritual in front of a group of African Americans and having a black gospel choir? Isn't it kind of like that? That you feel like you need to speak Spanish? It's like a lot of people in that audience, the Spanish, the audience, I'll bet you a lot of them are like, hey man, I moved to the USA and I speak English. All right, and I think it's kind of important to speak the language. And I think there are just a few. I mean, I'm just saying that Democrat-wise, probably more Republicans, but I'm thinking a few Hispanics actually kind of want to speak English. A few years ago, I had a crew. I was thinking of getting the interior of my house painted, and I had this really high stairway going upstairs, like a 25-foot ceiling. You know, it wasn't a fancy house, but it was just this. And I didn't want to paint it. And so next door, I saw the guys. They were painting the house, and this guy pulls up in this big old F-450, and it's a beautiful truck. And he gets out, and you could tell he is a Hispanic gentleman from most probably Central America or Mexico. I'm not sure, but anyway, he had a group of fellow expats with him. And I went over and said, hey, man, can I get a quote? He goes, oh, sure, no problem. He comes over. And he's talking to me and, telling me, how much he'd charge and all this stuff. And I said, you're working for somebody else here, right? I mean, and he goes, yeah. And I made the mistake. I said something very racist, by the way. I said something incredibly racist. Now it's racist. I said to him, are you ready? Because this is the gringo here talking. This is the most insulting thing you could say. I said, man, you speak really good English. He did not take it as an insult. He's like, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And he goes, let me show you something. He took me over to the door, and he says, you see that truck out there? And I'm looking at this F-450. It's probably a $80,000 truck. And he says, you see that truck? I said, yeah. He goes, the people who speak Spanish and only Spanish drive the truck. This person who speaks English and Spanish owns the truck. Needless to say, I hired him. So he painted my house, did a really good job. And it's It's nice to be able to speak the language, and it sounds kind of stupid when you're a gringo standing in front of a group and stumbling through a Spanish expression. All right. Coming up in a couple of minutes, do want to talk about a little bit about Joe Biden. Joe Biden was greeted by chants in New York City, protesters shouting, "Drop out, Joe." Bernie Sanders on if socialism, that label hurts him. Oh, guess who got caught in first class? Yeah, Bernie Sanders got caught in first class riding a plane to one of his events because he wouldn't want to sit back with the common people because he's a socialist, you see, and he wants you to drive little bitty cars and live in little bitty houses, and he owns 3 houses and rents another one and rides first class and in private jets while you cram yourself into economy class now with Delta Airlines committed to $1 billion to becoming the world's first carbon neutral airline, making the planes lighter, which apparently probably will involve some sort of discomfort for passengers, which usually what happens when airlines try to save money. So your thoughts are welcome on all of this. 678-996-1776. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA, the voice of Atlanta.
Hey, it's Akira. How's it going? Back at work and back with a Quick Weight Loss Center program. I first discovered the Quick Weight Loss Center almost 30 years ago, and I was too big. I had to lose 40 pounds, and I didn't think it would be that easy. I lost, I think, 6 pounds the first week or so. People are losing 10 or 11 or 12, by the way, the first week. It's really true. It really happens. The program is so good because now, even when I was out of work and being a stress eater, the old Kimmer would have gained 30 or 40 pounds just from eating stupidly. But now with the Quick Weight Loss Center, my maintenance program, it's so easy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Feeling great, eating exactly what I want, as much as I want. And by the way, we got a treat for you too. It's a
sorry about the mic problem there, guys. On Facebook,
I need. That's what I get. The Quick Weight Loss Center, and all this week. So services are only $9 a week right now. All services.
All right, Bill.
$9 a week. Call them 800-404-4050. 800-404-4050. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Make an appointment and keep the appointment on the web. Check them out.
I'm going to bump back with Boot Edge.
QWLC.com.
After diet and exercise, saving more money, making more money, and paying off debts are
so much for the chance to join you. Gracias por invitarnos para hablar
right now to get a copy
this evening.
Of Amazon best-selling book, The 21-Day Budget Club. In just 3 weeks, we can help you get a leaner budget, a fatter wallet, and a bigger net worth right here in 2020. Learn our tips on how to stretch your paycheck further in 2020. So go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and set up a free consultation today. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now.
Ever dry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
Hey Atlanta, Shannon Burke here. Now that the flood watches have expired and the sun is back, it's time to address that leaky basement. The amount of rain Atlanta gets this time of year should have you paying attention to moisture in your home. Call the guys that I call, EverDry. As you know, moisture and water in your basement today can lead to foundation issues tomorrow, not to mention mold and mildew. The health of your family could be at stake. Have the guys from EverDry come out and conduct a free basement inspection today. Their patented process seals and encapsulates your basement and keeps it dry for years to come. Call them today.
All right, here we go.
741-2900 or check them out online at everdryatlanta.com. It's 678-741-2900 for EverDry Waterproofing, and tell them Shannon Burke sent you.
EverDry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry. EverDry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry. If your basement's damp, don't take a chance.
Call EverDry Waterproofing.
If your crawl space is wet, one call and you're set.
Call EverDry Waterproofing.
Call EverDry today. We make the moisture go away. Go to everdryatlanta.com. Okay. EverDry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
First met my wife, Laura.
Yeah, Laura.
Yeah, she asked me if we should exchange phone numbers.
Yeah.
I said, wouldn't that make it kind of hard for people trying to reach us?
It's Saturday Night Live with a Newsmaker Line comedy show. Saturday, March 14th at the Swan Coach House in Buckhead, featuring comedian Jim Gossett and the crew from WTZA, the new talk of Atlanta. For more information, visit newsmakerline.com or call 678-829-SHOW.
783. You can also email us at tim@talkofatlanta.com or chance@talkofatlanta.com. Again, that's 404-304-5783. 4783.
Putting off the honeydew list is no longer an option, but there's still time to get those home renovations done with Chase Remodels. Hey, it's Shannon Burke, and these are the guys I'd call. Jonathan and his team have what it takes to keep your project on time and on budget. You don't want your out-of-town relatives to come and see that 1971 bathroom, do you?
Oh, Ed, I'm all for term limits.
3485 or online at chaseremodels.com. It's 678-654-3485. Tell them I sent you and get an extra 15% off.
Rob Carson filling in on this Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day 2020, celebrating one with my wife. My wife's out of town this weekend, but that's cool. Got her a little something this morning, little something this morning. And got my daughter something for Valentine's Day, whatever. Even though my wife told me that Valentine's Day, literally a couple weeks ago, she said Valentine's Day is a sham. It is a fake holiday. And I said, oh, yahoo, all right, awesome, but I don't dare not get her something, even though she said that. And I could have had a bad day, by the way. I could have had a bad day because I was getting ready to go. I was taking my daughter's little basket in for her Valentine's thing into her room, and I put the little thing of chocolate for my wife beside her bed, our bed this morning. And I stepped in dog crap this morning. And it was like, and there's the one thing in the world that just makes me go, brr, brr, brr. There's the one thing I cannot. And listen, I grew up on a farm, so I've shoveled all sorts of crap. And I worked in broadcasting, so I've been knee-deep in bull crap for 30 years. That said, the only thing that'll get me to just retch like a new father changing a poopy diaper is dog do. And it's just, boy, it just, I can't deal with it. But I got past it. I think I'm going to have to do that heart-shaped pizza from Papa John's tonight. My daughter and I will just be chilling out together, so we'll probably just do that. So, the campaign trail. Last night, Joe Biden not doing too well. I think he finished fourth in Iowa, fourth in New Hampshire, and it looks like that no other presidential candidate has done that and gone on to win the presidency, and he is dying on the vine. For a variety of reasons. One, his collusion with his son in Ukraine, and it's resonating. People get it. They get the fact that the Biden family has enriched themselves because of Joe Biden's position as the vice president of the United States, from top to bottom, from his son to his brother to his sister to everybody, essentially. And all of this is catching up. People are seeing this. And also, I don't know, maybe Democrats, you're a little slow on the uptake. See, President Trump's election in 2016 was about draining the friggin' swamp. All right? President Trump's election was about the anti-Washington going to Washington and draining the swamp. And he's done it. And Democrats are just now getting, oh my gosh, well, I guess Joe Biden's been in the Washington for his entire adult life. This is his career, is he's been in Washington, D.C., living the life of, a celebrity and a wealthy person living in government housing when he was the vice president for free. And basically spending his entire life telling us how to live ours. And maybe Democrats are finally starting to get it, although they're still stupid enough to vote for Bernie Sanders. We'll get into Bernie Sanders in just a second. Now, that sounded really weird. But we'll get into Bernie Sanders, the fact that the Democrat Party is going bananas over the possibility of him being the candidate, even though they're saying otherwise. We'll get to that in just a couple seconds. Joe Biden went to a big money fundraiser in New York City, as he's known to do. He doesn't just go to Delaware, ride the Amtrak up to a little fundraiser, a little town hall. No, he goes to the big money in New York City. Here he is being greeted by chants of Dropout Joe. And by the way, these are not evergreen or AstroTurf protesters hired by Republican operatives, unlike Democrat Party operatives who are hired by people like George Soros. These are actual Democrat voters, Democrat acolytes saying, it's time for you to go, Joe.
Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe! Skip Nevada! Skip South Carolina! Just go home early! Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe! Drop out Joe!
Yeah. I understood this years ago when he was chosen by Barack Obama to be a vice presidential candidate, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy has been in Washington, D.C. forever. Apparently was a smart move. I don't know what exactly, I guess it worked for him then. But my God, he's 77 years old. Bernie Sanders is 77 years old. And, you guys always tell us that we should retire at 65. Maybe it's time you did the same thing. Bernie Sanders was asked yesterday about socialism because he's a Democrat socialist. And let me just say, and by the way, James Carville yesterday called Bernie Sanders a communist. Apparently, Bernie called James Carville something, and James Carville said, well, at least I'm not a communist. And my God, James Carville actually said something that was true for a change. Bernie Sanders is a communist, all right? I'm probably the only person. You can sugarcoat it and you can call it, I'm a Democrat socialist. No, you're a communist. You honeymooned in the former Soviet Union. You sat around with a bunch of Ruskies and you drank vodka and you sang "This Land Is Your Land." Do you remember the video? Except for Bernie was singing the communist version, which is, my land, your land is my land, and your land is my land. From California to my second house in Rhode Island. So that was a little bit different. No, there's third house in Rhode Island, or maybe it was the fourth one that he rents. I'm not sure. But anyway, Bernie Sanders was asked about, socialism and whether that has affected him and people, if the label hurts him.
Senator, I'm curious. You've got this label stuck to you, socialist. You've got someone from your own party, the Democratic Party, saying they don't want socialism in South.
It's not a label when you say it. All right? When Bernie Sanders says, I'm a Democrat socialist, it's not a label. He's saying he's that.
South Carolina referring to you.
And by the way, when a Democrat admits something like that, that is just what's the word I'm looking for? It is a way to soften the real truth. Like, I am pro-choice is pro-abortion, but they say, I am pro-choice. When they say that I am progressive, what it means is that you're liberal. Well, Bernie Sanders says, I'm a Democrat socialist. And what he's really saying is, I'm a communist.
Well, I know there's a difference between democratic socialism and socialism.
No, there isn't. You're high, actually. You're just putting the word democratic in front of it. It's still socialism.
But why do you cling and hold on to that label, democratic socialist, when it seems to confuse people and give your enemies and critics an opportunity to bash you?
Well, let me just tell you something. In my view, to a significant degree, we are living right now under Donald Trump in a socialist society.
No, we're not, and I'll explain why in a second.
The only difference is, does the government work for working people or does it work for billionaires? Donald Trump, before he became president, when he was in real estate, he received $800 million in tax breaks and subsidies from the government.
Absolutely, abso-frickin-lutely. You know why? Because that's good business. When municipalities and when states lobby to get, unlike AOC in New York City and Amazon and crapping all over her district, government provides incentives to get business there, and it pays off. It pays off with jobs. It pays off with taxes, all of these things. That's just good business. It's not the wholesale takeover of business, which is what socialism is all about, Bernie Sanders. And dear God in heaven, you've been on the planet almost 78 frickin' years, and you should know this by now, but you don't, because you're a stupid socialist.
Socialism for the rich.
Socialism for the rich.
The fossil fuel industry receives tens of billions of dollars a year in subsidies.
Yes, they do. And they hire and they employ and fossil fuels, ultimately, whether it be for fuel for a vehicle to plastics for everything, including this microphone I'm talking into, they employ tens of thousands and millions. And I would venture to say, actually, the fossil fuel industry pretty much drives every industry in America. So, Bernie, when you fly first class, which I'll get into in a second, first class on one of those jet airliners, it's run by fossil fuels. Because you know why? There are no electric jets now, and there are no solar jets now, okay? When you get into your motorcade, and drive to wherever to beg for more money, you are riding in fossil fuel vehicles. Although there are electric vehicles now being produced that are generally plugged into walls that are fueled by fossil fuel coal-burning plants, okay? So let's just move on past that.
And tax breaks.
But Senator,
tax breaks are there for a reason.
For the rich.
But Senator, is the label confusing people and allowing your critics to hurt you politically?
Well, I did win the popular vote in Iowa. I did win the popular vote and win the primary in New Hampshire. I think we're going to win in Nevada.
You did it, a bunch of like-minded socialists. You won the popular vote.
I think we're going to win in South Carolina. Working people understand that we have got to finally stand up to the corporate elite.
Who employ you? The corporate elite. Yeah.
And that we have to have a mass political movement of working people and low-income people and young people to do that. So I'm not worried about labels. We will define ourselves, not let other people define us.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, he was in first class flight. And there's a guy named Hank Thomas. He was riding in first class because he probably built something, maybe created something, maybe is doing something that actually is positive, impacting other people's lives, like maybe creating a new can opener or, whatever, or maybe a cure for a disease. Unlike Bernie Sanders, who's a lifetime bureaucrat after being a failed carpenter and owns 3 houses and rents a 4th one. He's riding in first class. And so it says a nervous Democrat socialist in first class. And it shows Bernie Sanders sitting behind him with this very uncomfortable look like he's being caught on camera. Holding whatever beverage he's drinking, which probably is Phillips milk of magnesia and vodka. I don't know. But Buddy is willing to tell you how to live your life, and Bernie's going to give you $15 an hour, and he's riding in first class. And this is what Democrats do. They ride in first class. They tell you to drive unsafe little econo boxes while they ride in limousines. And I've said that it's about the Washington, D.C. elite, and no doubt Bernie Sanders is a part of it, and he can try. And he does exactly what they did in the Soviet Union when the poor proletariat is in power, and this has happened again and again. They live by a different set of rules than the bourgeois. You are the bourgeois, and you can ride in an uncomfortable car and use poison light bulbs and live in a smaller house or even a tiny house. You could live in a tiny house. That would last about 3 seconds with me and my wife. I wouldn't mind having one of those. What I would do is I'd get, the tiny house living. You ever seen those TV shows? I'd get like 6 of them and just put them right together to make a nice big house. That said, they live by a different standard. And, that's just the way it is. That's how Democrats, that's how they live. That's how they roll. Saw a pretty interesting montage the other day. And your thoughts on this are welcome. 678-996-1776. 678-996-1776 if you'd like to comment. Also, a lot of people watching on Facebook, Monty and Bruce and Sam and Brian and Ed. Thank you very much for joining, and you can check it out there. Just go to Facebook, look up Rob Carson. I guess it's rob.carson.39 is where you can really find me, but you'll be able to see the show as we do it live. It's another hair hat day, by the way. It's another ball cap day. Wearing a ball cap, so I do have plenty of hair. It's just really, I got bedhead this morning. But here's what the Democrat Party is all about. The Democrat Party is not about a promise for America. It is not about making things better for America. Yesterday, Tom Steyer, the billionaire creator of Starbucks, who doesn't pay any of his employees $15 an hour, unless maybe they manage a store, or maybe they're like a regional director. You can make $15 an hour, but he wants $20 an hour for the minimum wage. And Tom Steyer was asked, well, what do we do about the Trump economy? He goes, well, the Trump economy, I mean, you may have 3.5% unemployment, and there may be the lowest African-American unemployment in the history of taking polls, and also Hispanics, and more women in the workforce, and the economy's growing at a record pace in manufacturing. But, a lot of people aren't, they're still having to work 2 jobs. And that's the Democrats are going to fix that. So they're going to fix... Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to make sure you have one job that makes $15 an hour, and that more black people will be unemployed, more Hispanic unemployment, and everything will go back to where it was. So there's your promise of the Democrat Party. the promise of the Democrat Party. And then, of course, there's just the racism and sexism. And I found this interesting montage this morning. This is, I believe, on Grabian News, and this kind of encapsulates the Democrat Party and their obsession with identity politics, from news media to the candidates, actually.
The three frontrunners in most polls are all white men.
Yeah.
Is sexism playing a role still?
I think sexism absolutely plays a role.
I mean, I do think there is a gender piece here that we still suck at talking about.
It's something to see all three at the top of the polls being led by three white men, though.
What I believe to be the elephant in the room about my campaign.
What is that?
Electability. Is America ready for a woman and a woman of color to be president of the United States?
Well, here's the deal. Just identify as a man, okay? If you're a woman of color and, you're a woman of color, there's already been a man of color in the White House. So if you're worried about being a woman of color, just go where we've already been and declare yourself to be a man.
I still remember the reaction when Kamala Harris dropped off the stage.
That's all she needed to do was identify as a man. They're doing that all over the place.
Amongst black women in my life, it was almost like, wait a minute, we have got to find a way as a party.
So they're saying basically if Bernie Sanders identified as a woman, he would not be electable, right? Isn't that the case? Because if Bernie Sanders were a woman, he would not be electable, according to this. So, consequently, if Kamala Harris identified as a man, she could win.
As a nation, both parties are.
She had the double-edged sword of not just being a woman, but being an African-American woman.
I think it is very difficult for a woman of color, especially the first woman of color, to run for office.
I do think that women are still held to different standards as candidates.
Do you think there's a gendered issue here in terms of people not seeing you as the person to get it done?
I do think there's a double standard.
You are one of those people in the middle that everybody wants, it seems. But I think if you were a man, you'd be further ahead. I'm just saying that.
Why do you
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying if the female candidates didn't suck as bad as they do, then they would be electable. All right? If they weren't, Elizabeth Warren, are you out of your nut?
I think white male candidates,
Hillary Clinton, really,
are doing better than any of
it's because they have vaginas.
The women candidates. Well, I don't know.
The 6 women of color that quit your Nevada campaign with complaints of a toxic work environment and tokenism.
Racism and oppression in this country have left a long legacy.
The Iowa caucus is essentially the perfect example of systemic racism.
There's something about leadership and what that looks like that makes us gravitate towards men and even white men.
Have a racist society from top to bottom, impacting healthcare, housing, criminal justice, education, you name it. And clearly this is an issue that must be dealt with.
Okay, so there you go. That's the Democrat Party, the media, thinking the worst of you. They think the worst of you. It's all about identity politics. Now, coming up, it looks like the president has been, the Senate has voted to limit his power, the president's power, to strike Iran. Also, Bill Barr, a little tit for tat with the president. I'll get into that. Joe Manchin can suck it. I'll explain why that is in just a couple of minutes. And a little bit more on Delta becoming the first carbon neutral airline and spending $1 billion over the next decade. So that's on the way. 678-996-1776 is the number. I am Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA, the voice of Atlanta.
2020 is a huge year for politics and a presidential election right around the corner. After a banner year in the stock market, do you know the 5 investments that you should be making right here in 2020? Is this a year to buy gold, tech stocks, or should you be moving to cash? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get our free guide on the 5 investments you must own in your portfolio for 2020. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now to get the free Oxygen Financial 2020 investment guide and get your portfolio to work harder for you this year.
Hey everybody, Brooksy here. You know I'm a big gun guy, and you've heard me talk on my show about the attack on our Second Amendment
Let me get some water.
in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Well, I tell you one place that's not going to happen, here in the state of Georgia, and also at Dawsonville Gun. They will take care of all your firearm needs. Just head up 400 north to 5711 Highway 53 in Dawsonville, Georgia, and you can find them on DawsonvilleGun.com or give them a call, 702-216-1468. Tell them Brooksy sent you.
Hi, this is Billy Brew, host of Billy Brew Radio. Heard Saturdays right here on my new radio home, WTZA AM 1010 and 102.1 FM, the talk of Atlanta.
Why do you think bank presidents and jewelry store owners trust ADT to protect their homes and businesses? Because they feel safe, and you can too. How would you like to monitor your home from fire, floods, and yes, robberies without even being there right from your smartphone? That is peace of mind.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Even save money on your homeowner's insurance just by having an ADT system installed. And there's even a money-back guarantee. How about that? We guarantee 100% satisfaction. You have nothing to risk. Why do you think people who have so much to protect trust ADT?
Hi guys on
right now
Facebook. Do appreciate you joining me this morning. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Calling. So pick up your phone and call Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider now.
800-561-3405.
Stoke Protein Coffee.
3405.
What I'm enjoying this morning.
561-3405. That's 800-561.
One of these this morning too. Woo! I couldn't resist. 170 calories.
The law is personal, and they take your
That's not too bad. This is really good this morning.
Special
one of my daughters
personal injury and family law with a personal touch. Put them to work for you. Call today for your free consult. 770-428-8880. That's 770-428-8880. Or online at AkersWoodLaw.com. AkersWoodsLaw.com.
Rob Carson here on Valentine's Day 2020, filling on this glorious radio station, WTZA. We hope that you will check out the website, WTZA.net, support local sponsors, very important stuff. And just tell your friends about the station, because it's pretty sweet. It's amazing is what it is. I mean, the airwaves without Shannon Burke and Kara. You could meet the Kimmer, Brooksy, the genius, borderline savant, Jim Gossett. Jim Gossett, oh my Lord, just the funny. And I've been writing comedy for everybody and their brother for a very long time. For those of you who don't know, I'm a talk radio host. Wrote a good share of the comedy heard on the Rush Limbaugh program for many, many years. And also a video audio podcaster. And I have, and among other things, I've got about 100 cooking videos on the web too. So you just Google my name. I'm all over the place. All over the place. Joe Manchin, who is a Republican senator from West Virginia and a disgrace. And they have him on Fox News, and everybody acts like he's some sort of a moderate Democrat, and he's not. Joe Manchin is not a moderate Democrat. Joe Manchin talks the talk, and Joe Manchin is a shapeshifter, and he's a liar, and he's willing to do anything he has to do and shift positions. And the most radical example of this is that he voted for both counts to impeach the President of the United States, and now is saying, hey, I just might endorse him. I might just endorse the president. That's like attempting to kill someone and then saying, hey, you know what? He's my best buddy. Let's go out to dinner sometime. Sorry about the murder attempt. I don't know what I was thinking with the knife and the gun and the whole, and all that, and sneaking up behind you and cutting your brake lines and putting the marbles on top of the top of the basement stairs. I don't know what I was thinking about that, but gosh darn it, I mean, son of a gun. Let's go get a steak. We'll go have a cigar or something. Oh, you could drive. That's fine. Yeah. You can drive. You want me to ride in the back? Okay, I can. In the back, in like the back of the truck. You want to ride back? Sure. Okay, no problem. So what he says, here he is talking about voting for President Trump. I don't rule anything out. I really don't rule anything out. I'm always going for what's best for my country. Bull crap. Everything is about you. Everybody can change. Maybe the president will change, Maybe that uniter will come out versus the divider. He's not dividing us. The people who hate him are dividing us. All right? It's not the president who's dividing us. If the president were dividing us along, like, for instance, lines of race and gender, then why would black unemployment be the lowest on record? Why would more women being in the workforce? Unless he's the worst Nazi, white supremacist, racist, sexist in the history of mankind. I mean, because if he really is, if he's really a Nazi, white supremacist, racist, feminist, anti-feminist, misogynist. You've got to imagine he sits there with his friends and he sees these, these cronies, his Nazi buddies with their armbands and everything. He's hanging out in the Oval Office there, wearing their hoods and stuff like the governor of Virginia. Anyway, Ralph Northam just sitting there, and he's like, God dang it, the numbers are out this week, and more black people have jobs. Son of a gun, am I screwing this up? Impeachment and removal, this according to a piece, I believe it's the Washington Times. Paul Bedard did this. Impeachment and removal are meant for only the most serious cases in which a president is manifestly unfit for office after the commission of high crimes and misdemeanors. In other words, there's no going back once you say that, and you can't say suddenly, hey, you know what, if the president's willing to change, I'll go along with him. Any senator who votes to remove a president either has made the determination that the incumbent shouldn't be president at all, or that senator has abused his office for his own personal or partisan purposes. Manchin then goes on to make it even worse. He says, I saw the State of the Union, and I said, it's not who we are. There's so many good things that we can do better. Well, he just talked about all the things that he's doing better. So, really? Back to the column, he should be equally embarrassed to suggest he might endorse Trump in 2020, especially because of its nakedly self-interested position. He's not endorsing Trump to get another 4 years of president. He's just voted to remove. Manchin is talking about endorsing Trump to keep his own political career viable in 2024. And that is the truth. Manchin knows that West Virginia voters will be irate over the vote because they overwhelmingly supported Trump, and this POS also voted for Obamacare and then acted like it didn't happen, and yet Fox News still has him on, acting like he's some sort of a conservative Democrat, blue dog Democrat. No, he's not. He is a dog. He is being led around by the Democrat Party, but he's not a blue dog. See what I did there? 8 Republicans joined all Democrat senators in limiting Trump's ability to take action against Iran. Because, by God, he certainly has abused that by going after the worst terrorist in the world, General Soleimani. Some people who joined: Jerry Moran. Surprisingly, he's from Kansas. I know Jerry. Mike Lee, Susan Collins, Rand Paul. He's a libertarian. Lisa Murkowski, of course, she's left. Todd Young, Indiana. Lamar Alexander, Tim Cassidy. The Washington Post noted that Trump will almost certainly veto the measure once it passes the House. Neither chamber of Congress has the votes to override it. Lawmakers say that's because the 55 votes fall short of a supermajority needed to override the presidential veto. Trump tweeted his disapproval of the resolution. He says, we are doing very well with Iran, and this is not the time to show weakness. If my hands were tied, Iran would have a field day. Also, by the way, the president can't do anything without a bunch of scumbag leakers from the Democrat Party screwing it up. And if he would have said anything about the attack on General Soleimani, which was well planned at the airport in Baghdad, because Soleimani was there to watch the embassy fall in Baghdad, which he was there in 1978 in Tehran, and he's been there. He was there or at least his minions were there in Benghazi. And he was there to watch the embassy fall, and because it didn't fall, because we have a president who has cojones. I sounded like Pete Buttigieg there for a second. For those who don't speak Spanish, that means balls. So he was there for that, and he was hoping for another 1978 all over again and a bunch of hostages and all that, but the president sent in these whirlybirds, and that's what Joe Biden would call them, and sent in a bunch of Marines and basically stopped it from happening. And so Soleimani had to go to the airport, and then he went boom. So Senator McConnell warned the resolution would severely limit the U.S. military's operations flexibility to defend it against threats posed by Iran, and because we have Democrats who are willing to put their country in danger and are in bed with the enemies of the country. McConnell posited that after the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, Washington Democrats immediately suggested President Trump was leading us into World War III. He added that the resolution was a blunt and clumsy measure, and it is. So the president did the right thing. He kicked some ass, and the Democrats saw this would be a great thing for his poll numbers, and they sided with the enemy. Okay? All right. So there's a little... I got a little disagreement between Attorney General Bill Barr and the Roger Stone case. And Roger Stone was sentenced or recommended a sentence of 9 years in prison by the 4 Democrat prosecutors who prosecuted him, and they immediately quit after President Trump expressed consternation with regard to the 9-year sentence, said it was absolutely ridiculous. And so Trump tweeted about that, and some people, some Democrats said that was somehow obstructing justice and it might result in the impeachment of the president again. Here is this idiot, Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell. He is a complete moron Democrat, talking about how the president could be impeached for tweeting about Bill Barr's sentencing and how much he disagrees with it.
Might you impeach him over this, over Roger Stone and the sentencing?
You know, we're not going to take our options off the table. We don't wake up in the morning wanting to impeach him. You know, we want to work with him on...
You mean you don't only just wake up thinking of impeaching him. You wake up thinking about it. You go to lunch thinking about it. You go afternoons, you maybe take a nap, think about it. Go home, go to happy hour. While you're at happy hour drinking with friends, you're thinking about impeachment. You go home, and right before you kiss your wife goodnight, you say, honey, good night, and God, I hope that Donald Trump is impeached. And then right before you go to bed, you say, dear God, please let Donald Trump be impeached, and then you go to sleep.
Prescription drugs, background checks, and infrastructure, but we're not going to let him just, torch this democracy.
Okay, hold on one second. Hold on.
Him on prescription drugs, background checks, and infrastructure, but we're not...
He just talked about how we're not just focusing on impeaching Trump. We're going to focus on the people's business, even though the last 3 years you've only been focused on that and not doing the people's business.
Off the table, we don't wake up in the morning wanting to impeach him. We want to work with him on prescription drugs, background checks, and infrastructure.
You've never done that in the last 3 years. You've never done that. You have never. How dare you say you're suddenly willing to work with the president on these things? You've just lied so gigantically there. You said we don't wake up thinking about impeaching the president. Only wake up. You think about it all the time, but not just when you wake up. And then you said you really want to work with the president. Lie.
But we're not going to let him just, torch this democracy because he thinks that he's been let off once and we're not going to do something about it.
Okay. You know what? Good luck with that new impeachment thing. I wish you the best. In fact, I really hope you go for it. Please do it soon. Please do it before the election when you lose the House and the president goes back to the White House for another 4 years. Please do that. So Bill Barr, the president has been, he tweets. That's what he does. He talked about Roger Stone's recommended sentencing. Horrible day, a very unfair situation. The real crimes were on the other side as nothing happens to them. Cannot allow this miscarriage of justice. Now it looks like the foreperson, this is Trump tweeting, in the jury in the Roger Stone case has significant bias, and she's been pictured with Donna Brazile. She's a major pro-Obama acolyte, posted emojis when he found guilty of happy faces. He went on, and Trump has just been tweeting about this. Congratulations to Attorney General Bill Barr. And Bill Barr, he's a serious lawman, and he doesn't appreciate the tweeting. And I get it. The president is non-traditional at best. And he shoots his mouth off and tweets, and it's become a little bit bothersome for the AG.
Have public statements and tweets made about the department, about our people in the department, our men and women here, about cases pending in the department, and about judges before whom we have cases, make it impossible for me to do my job and to assure the courts and the prosecutors in the department that we're doing our work with integrity.
Okay, so there's the president, or not the president, there's the attorney general essentially saying, I'll just put it this way. The AG is telling the POTUS to STFU. I've been thinking about that all morning. Thank you very much. Make sure to tip your bartenders and waitresses. More on the disagreement between the Attorney General and the President. Delta Airlines going to commit money to becoming the first carbon-neutral airline, and on the way, girls suing a state because boys can compete in track as girls. That's all on the way. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA, the voice of Atlanta.
Hey, it's Akira. How's it going? Back at work and back with a Quick Weight Loss Center program. I first discovered the Quick Weight Loss Center almost 30 years ago, and I was too big. I had to lose 40 pounds, and I didn't think it would be that easy. I lost, I think, 6 pounds the first week or so. People are losing 10 or 11 or 12, by the way, the first week. It's really true. It really happens. The program is so good because now, even when I was out of work and being a stress eater, the old Kimmer would have gained 30 or 40 pounds just from eating stupidly. But now with the Quick Weight Loss Center, my maintenance program, it's so easy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Feeling great, eating exactly what I want, as much as I want. And by the way, we got a treat for you, too. It's a specialized program. Individually for whatever I need, that's what I get. The Quick Weight Loss Center. And all this week, so services are only $9 a week. Right now, all services only $9 a week. Call them 800-404-4050. 800-404-4050. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Make an appointment and keep the appointment. On the web, check them out. QWLC.com. QWLC.com.
Putting off the honey-do list is no longer an option, but there's still time to get those home renovations done with Chase Remodels. Hey, it's Shannon Burke, and these are the guys I'd call. Jonathan and his team have what it takes to keep your project on time and on budget. You don't want your out-of-town relatives to come and see that 1971 bathroom, do you? Call them today at 678-654-3485 or online at chaseremodels.com. It's 678-654-3485. Tell them I sent you and get an extra 15% off.
Your number saved.
Broadcasting live from the Oxygen Financial Studios, this is the Talk of Atlanta, WTZA Decatur, Atlanta, 1010 AM and 102.1 FM. I'm Randy Wiles. Both the Georgia State Patrol head and the Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety have stepped down. More than 30 state troopers have been dismissed after it was determined they cheated on a speed detector exam. The troopers, all members of the 106th cadet class from August 2019, were fired after a trooper came forward with allegations that everyone in the class had cheated on the exam. A New Hampshire man faces charges after his arrest for allegedly assaulting a 15-year-old Trump supporter and 2 adults at a polling site during the state's primary. 34-year-old Patrick Bradley was charged with simple assault and disorderly conduct after he got in the face of a teenage boy wearing a red Make America Great Again hat and volunteering at a Trump tent at a high school. It's been exactly 2 years since a mentally disturbed gunman killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. In the weeks that followed, the Florida legislature passed a red flag law. Well, since then, Florida judges have confiscated guns from private citizens more than 3,500 times under that law. It'll be sunny with a...
Mr. Barr, the president does not like to be told what to do. He may not like the president
in the department that we're doing our work with integrity. You and your family in 2020. Do you know why you should never inherit an IRA again? Do you know how it affects you when you have a new baby and the major changes it has for your 401k plan? Go to oxygenfinancial.com and get our free guide on the Secure Act here in 2020. Isn't it time you figured out how to save more money in taxes this year? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get your free 2020 Secure Act guide today.
Advertise with us. Call 404-304-4783. You can also email us at tim@talkofatlanta.com or chance@talkofatlanta.com. Again, that's 404-304-4783.
Are you from California, Illinois, New York, Georgia, or any of the other 39 states that charge state income tax? Does your state claim you owe them any amount of back taxes? Or have you not filed in years? Is your heart pounding because you know they're wrong or you just don't have the money? Don't fight the state income tax board.
1, 2, 3.
The Tax Doctor is here to help you. The state is much more aggressive than the IRS in collecting taxes. They have the power to take your home, your car, your driver's and business licenses, even garnish your wages, freeze your bank accounts, and go after your spouse. Solve all your income tax problems permanently and keep more of your hard-earned money. Make this 100% guaranteed risk-free call right now.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
2020 is a huge year for politics and a presidential election right around the corner. After a banner year in the stock market, do you know the 5 investments that you should be making right here in 2020? Is this a year to buy gold, tech stocks, or should you be moving to cash? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get our free guide on the 5 investments you must own in your portfolio for 2020. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now to get the free Oxygen Financial 2020 investment guide and get your portfolio to work harder for you this year.
By the grace of God, it is finally Friday. I'm not sure if it's a gift from God that I'm on the radio, but Rob Carson is here. Hello. And welcome back to the show. Going to be here for another couple of hours before Mike Brooks and Jim Gossett take over. Jim Gossett, of course, doing 2 shows on this radio station. He doesn't work hard enough. Are you kidding me? One of the hardest working people in the world and funny. I want to see him live on stage. I haven't seen him on stage. I know he's got a big event coming up, and man, I want to see it. Want to see it. So much to get to. I want to get to this lawsuit in depth. 4 girls are suing the state of Connecticut because there are 2 men competing with them in track, and they're winning. And they identify as women, and they're just beating these girls and ruining their chances of scholarships. And I'm going to share some audio. And I know that a lot of shows have been kind of giving it a little bit of lip service, but this is really, really grotesque. And that it's happening is particularly with so many people. You've got the Democrats. They want to vote for the Equal Rights Amendment that's been around since what? I guess that initially came around in 1970. We don't really need it anymore, but Democrats need to continue to make women feel like victims because that's the only way they can get votes, apparently. But the ERA is still in the news, and there are still Democrats trying to pass it, even though it's been around since like 1970, 72, actually. But a lot of Democrats who claim to be feminists will throw away the rights of girls and all that when it comes to a guy who suddenly decides he wants to be a girl, because that is going to be pandering to the LGBTQ community. And so we're gonna get to that in just a moment. And I've done some copious research on it, to be quite honest, copious research, and I'll share that as well. I think I'm done with the Bill Barr thing. The Bill Barr and the president. Saying the president should stop tweeting. In other words, the AG tells the POTUS to STFU. I think it's nothing, actually. It did kind of come as a surprise to me that Bill Barr would care about the president's tweeting, and I don't think it's really impairing his ability to do his job. It might be for some maybe weaker-minded individuals in the Justice Department. Bill Barr is a big man. He wears big boy underwear, and he can handle it. So, I guess I would see where maybe Bill Maher might consider it to be unprofessional or untoward. But really, Bill, maybe he's just trying to show, because it clearly has shown that he's not the biased tool that the Democrat Party would like to say that he is, and saying that they want to impeach Bill Barr and impeach Donald Trump for tweets and all this stuff because they have nothing good to say. So, did I mention that we are broadcasting live from the Oxygen Financial Studios? I don't think I did. It's pretty cool. I want to thank Oxygen Financial for being a part of it, being one of the big foundational sponsors of this glorious radio experiment that is WTZA, the voice of Atlanta. Local story. Delta Airlines looking to become the first airline in the world to become carbon neutral. Carbon neutral. How about become the first airline to have economy class not suck? How about that? How about we work on becoming a comfortable third class airline? They said today, actually, they're going to commit $1 billion over the next years to mitigate all emissions from its global business going forward. And what this is going to include, I don't know, because when you burn fossil fuels, you're not carbon neutral, and the whole possibility, the whole thing about carbon neutrality is stupid. Okay, carbon dioxide. I am polluting. I am contributing to global warming. Oh, wait, it's not global warming. It's climate change. Polar ice caps are melting. There is no substitute for the power that travel has to connect people, which our world needs today more than ever before. As we connect customers around the globe, it is our responsibility to deliver on our promise to bring people together and ensure the utmost care for our environment, says Ed Bastian, Delta's CEO. This time, the time is now to accelerate our investments and establish an ambiguous commitment that the entire Delta team will deliver. Well, that sounds like a memo, doesn't it? Delta said the aviation industry accounts for roughly 2% of global carbon dioxide emissions, which means if they cut their carbon if they cut their carbon footprint, it will mean precisely D word for Richard. Delta's carbon footprint is its largest environmental impact, with 98% of emissions coming from its aircraft. I'm saying pretty much, yeah, because they're an airline. Here is how the company is focusing its efforts to become carbon neutral. Reducing Delta's carbon footprint through enterprise-wide efforts to decrease the use of jet fuel and increase efficiency. Areas, well, they never have done that before. I mean, they just love burning that gas, burning that fuel. There's never been an effort by Delta Airlines to be more fuel efficient, or any of them. No. Areas of focus include an ambiguous fleet renewal program, improved flight operations, weight reduction, and increased development and use of sustainable aviation fuels. Okay. Carbon removal is another tenet of becoming carbon neutral by Delta Airlines, investing in innovative projects and technology to remove carbon emissions from the atmosphere that go beyond the airline's current commitments, and investing carbon removal opportunities through forestry, wetland restoration, grassland conservation, marine and soil capture, and other negative emissions technologies. Here's an idea. How about just get our planes there on time and make sure we're comfortable, instead of focusing on forestry, wetland restoration, grassland conservation, marine and soil capture? Just get us to our destination on time, not canceled in a seat that is not ungodly comfortable next to a guy who's clipping his toenails. Also, stakeholder management, building coalitions with our employees, suppliers, global partners, customers, industry colleagues, investors, and other stakeholders to advance carbon reduction and removal goals and maximize our global impact. When customers choose to fly Delta, they should feel they're making a statement about taking care of our planet. No, not really. No, I'm just thinking that this is the flight that I got for the cheapest because I went to that site and it says this is the cheapest, and I want my family on here and I want my baggage just to arrive, and I don't give a rat's behind about you doing some stuff with forestry and wetland restoration and grassland conservation. Could actually give a rat's behind less. Our commitment to carbon neutrality means flying with Delta represents far more than a great travel experience. It's about joining arms to create a better world. I don't want to rip on Delta. That's fine. But honestly, do you need to do this? Does this make you want to fly this airline, or do you really not care? Suddenly flying like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's a moron of the first class. She says that as part of the new Green Deal, she wants to eliminate airline travel, which is a problem for places like Australia and New Zealand and any other island in the world or continent that is separated from all the other continents. Does this really matter to you? Democrats, they want to push forward this carbon-free agenda, and they don't have any solutions for it. Bernie Sanders flies for first class, and he wants to get rid of, he wants to do the Green New Deal. Bernie Sanders flies new first class in a jet that uses fossil fuel, and he will continue to do so even if the other technologies happen. He will fly in first class. You will ride in the back. This is a PSA for the Democrat Party that I wrote a couple years ago. For one Mr. Rush Limbaugh about the Democrats' plan for energy, which I believe really impacts Delta Airlines' commitment to $1 billion to become carbon neutral.
Let's face it, America, we're in the middle of an energy crisis, but we here at the Democratic Party aren't going to take it lying down.
The Democratic Party, looking forward to the future.
Rather than giving big oil the satisfaction of finding massive reserves off our coasts or in Anwar, we're working towards a real solution to our energy problems.
The Democratic Party, finding solutions.
For instance, we know that by buying uncomfortable tiny cars and replacing our light bulbs, the magical energy fairy will come and deliver all the power we need.
The Democratic Party, energy from fairies.
We're also working on our Visualize World Energy bumper sticker campaign. Hey, it worked for world peace, didn't it?
The Democratic Party, thinking happy thoughts.
Sure, you can't power a 747 with solar power.
No.
Yet. But taxing big oil in the meantime will help.
Magical energy fairies, higher taxes, and thinking happy thoughts. Real solutions for our energy problems. Change you can hope that works. The Democratic Party.
You can hope it works, but it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. On the heels of that, a bill to prohibit the use of plastic grocery bags has been proposed in the Georgia State Legislature. Okay? A series of states have implemented bag bans. And, this is the tyranny of good intentions, right? This is what exists in the Democrat Party. They always come up with plans to change things and make things better, and they make things worse. For instance, getting rid of the little bitty plastic bags, which, by the way, I recycle. I use them again and again. Every time I walk the dog. You've seen people doing that. You're walking your dog and you take a bread sack, you take one of those Walmart plastic bags, and you if you're a good person and you're walking in a neighborhood and you got your dog, you will bend over and you'll pick up that dog stuff and you'll put it in that bag and you'll carry it the rest of the walk. It's so pleasant. And I save those bags, and what I do is I take those bags, I take them to Walmart, and they got a big bin for recycling the bags, which means nothing. Because if you ever take one of those bags, you ever hold the lighter one of those bags and they burn and they end up with literally like maybe a teardrop of plastic. That's how much plastic is each one of those bags. It's minuscule. But they're saying that these plastic bags, they leach poison chemicals into the water supply. You know what they call Walmart bags in Arkansas? Do you know what they call them? The blue bags from Walmart. They call them Arkansas tumbleweeds. So anyway, the bill is sponsored by Senate Democrat Donzella James, and 5 years after a bill to prevent local jurisdictions from passing their own plastic bags was defeated. So they want to get rid of the plastic bags. They don't get recycled. They end up at landfills, blah, blah, toxin-filled microplastics, pollute food and water and all that stuff. And so they want to get rid of those. And what they do is they replace them with these canvas bags you carry in the back of your car, and they get all sorts of bacteria and crap in them, and they end up just being a complete pain in the rear end. And listen, I'm the kind of guy, I recycle stuff. Okay, I'm a big recycler. Right now in my neighborhood, they give me one recycle bin, and they only come every 2 weeks for recycles. And I recycle all my stuff. Glass, plastic, aluminum, okay? Tin cans, paper, cardboard, all of that stuff. But I recycle so much that I fill the recycle thing overflowing. And then I go and I take a separate bag to put the recycles that have overflowed, buy my recycles, buy the trash, and the recycle guys just throw it in the regular trash. So I said, screw it. I'll just fill the recycle thing one time, and then the rest of it's just going to go in the regular trash because they're not going to pick it up anyway. But, and my wife drives my wife nuts when I have a plastic fork, when I get some of those nice plastic cutlery that you have friends over for parties. I wash it in the dishwasher. I do. There's some things, red Solo cups, they don't do so well in the dishwasher. They get all melty and everything. Don't put red Solo cups in the dishwasher. And by the way, those aren't recyclable. The clear ones are. The red Solo cups are not. So if you should be doing beer pong, like my 20-year-old son in college, and yeah, I know he's 20. He's not, but kids in college, he did the same thing. Anyway, the clear ones you can recycle. Not sure about the ping pong balls. Not really sure. Not really sure. Okay, so I've been talking about this for a couple of days. There are 4 high school students in the state of Connecticut, and they're fed up. They are tired of being told that they have to be with boys. Chelsea Mitchell, ranked as the fastest girl in the 55-meter dash in a Connecticut high school school track, showed up for a competition last year. She knew it would be a challenge. Her competitors included 2 biological males who said they identified as girls. Mitchell is a senior at Canton High School. Has seen the speeds posted by the 2. She was aware that the other girls had lost to athletes born as boys who identify as girls, but at the time, she says, she could feel the adrenaline in her blood, but the adrenaline wasn't good enough. She came in 3rd behind the 2 guys who identify as girls. I've got a few cuts from a little feature. I'll have to find the name of this, but it's a little documentary about these four young women and how they've been absolutely screwed because a bunch of politically correct people feel it's more important that boys who identify as girls be able to compete as girls and beat the living snot out of girls.
A transgender high school athlete who is biologically a male took first place in both the 100 and 200 meter dash at Connecticut's Girls Track and Field State Championships.
When I'm at the start of the race, when I'm lining up and getting into my blocks, everyone already knows the outcome. Those two athletes are going to come 1 and 2, and everyone knows it.
The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the CIAC, says that athletes can choose to compete for the sport in which they gender identify with.
No one thinks it's fair because we all know that males are physically stronger than females and they compete at a higher level.
Petitions are circulating in Plainville and Glastonbury after 2 trans girls swept the competition at the State Track and Field Championships.
Okay, now this is heartbreaking. I got a daughter, she's 14 years old, and I want the best for her. And there are people who are allowing boys to compete with girls. Now, remember what it used to be, should girls be able to wrestle? You know, I'm not a big fan of that. Should girls be willing to be able to play football? Okay, sure, you're going to get the snot kicked out of you. All right? But that's the difference between people born as boys and men claiming to be women and then just destroying them. We saw that cyclist who just took the women's world championship, whatever. It looks completely like a dude. Sorry, is a dude. And won. We saw an MMA fighter a couple weeks ago. Story. This MMA fighter, born as a man, identifies as a woman, and broke the skull of the woman he was fighting. And I'm just going to say he was fighting. Absolutely unacceptable. I've got some more cuts from this. I want your thoughts on it as well. 678-996-1776. 678-996-1776. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA.
Ever dry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
Hey Atlanta, Shannon Burke here. Now that the flood watches have expired and the sun is back, it's time to address that leaky basement. The amount of rain Atlanta gets this time of year should have you paying attention to moisture in your home. Call the guys that I call, EverDry. As you know, moisture and water in your basement today can lead to foundation issues tomorrow, not to mention mold and mildew. The health of your family could be at stake. Have the guys from EverDry come out and conduct a free basement inspection today. Their patented process seals and encapsulates your basement and keeps it dry. 678-741-2900 or check them out online at everdryatlanta.com. It's 678-741-2900 for EverDry Waterproofing. Tell them Shannon Burke sent you.
EverDry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
Whether you make $50,000 or you make $500,000, are you tired of having no clue where your money is going?
Hey,
OxygenFinancial.com right now to get a copy of our Amazon best-selling book, The 21-Day Budget Club.
Joe and Bill, hello, and Ed and Jeff, and Jesse and Todd and Carol and Gerald, or Jared and Dave. Got a lot of people watching today. I love it. Thank you, guys.
Take a chance.
Appreciate it.
EverDry waterproofing. If your
EverDry waterproofing.
You're set. Call EverDry waterproofing. Call EverDry today. We make the moisture go away. Go to EverDryAtlanta.com. Okay. EverDry waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
Are you old enough to remember?
When a man falls out of your boat and into the water, you should yell, "Man overboard." Now, what should you yell if a woman falls overboard?
Full speed ahead.
If so, tune in Saturday at 2 p.m. to the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast. This week, we expand to a 2-hour format as we discuss your favorite game shows. Lots of clips and fun. That's the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast, Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Talk of Atlanta, WTZA 102.1 FM, 1010 AM, and talkofatlanta.com.
Hey everybody, Brooksy here. You know I'm a big gun guy, and you've heard me talk on my show about the attack on our Second Amendment rights in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Well, I tell you one place that's not going to happen, here in the state of Georgia, and also at Dawsonville Gun. They will take care of all your firearm needs. Just head up 400 north to 5711 Highway 53 in Dawsonville, Georgia, and you can find them on DawsonvilleGun.
Hi, Aaron. What's up, man?
Or give them a call, 706-216-1468. Tell them Brooksy sent you.
Advertise with us. Call 404-304-4783. You can also email us at tim@talkofatlanta.com or chance@talkofatlanta.com. Again, that's 404-304-4783.
First met my wife, Laura. Yeah, she asked me if we should exchange phone numbers. Yeah. I said, wouldn't that make it kind of hard for people trying to reach us?
That is funny.
Saturday Night Live.
Funny.
Newsmaker Line Comedy Show. Saturday, March 14th at the Swan Coach House in Buckhead. Featuring comedian Jim Gossett and the crew from WTZA, the new talk of Atlanta. For more information, visit newsmakerline.com or call 678-829-SHOW.
That is a really good bumper song, by the way. Really, really nice, Billy Brew. Woo! Come on, turn that up. It's Friday. It is Valentine's Day. My name is Rob Carson, filling in. I woke up this morning, did like I always do. I rolled over to my wife. I gave her a kiss, and I said, I'm sorry. She doesn't say, what's that for anymore. She just knows that I do it every morning to, cover myself. A little CYA, if you will. It is Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's Day. So I'm talking about these girls. There are 4 girls in the state of Connecticut who are suing the Athletic Association of the state because there are 2 men competing as girls. Their names are Terry. Well, it's kind of a could be girl, could be guy, kind of like Shannon, I guess. Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood. They have been competing in women's athletics, even though they were born men. 2 seniors have combined to win 15 girls' state indoor and outdoor championships races since 2017. 3 plaintiffs have competed directly against them, almost always losing to Miller and usually behind Yearwood. Mitchell finished 3rd in the 2019 state championship in the girls' 55-meter indoor track competition behind Miller and Yearwood. Yearwood of Cromwell High School, Miller of Bloomfield South. Both have defended their participation as girls, which should be embarrassing, but it's not. Here's a little bit more about the trans athletes mopping up the floor with girls who are losing their opportunities in life because of it.
From 3rd on, it's a little different. We're actually fighting for those spots.
She's talking about 3rd place because all the other girls in the competition in the state of Connecticut competing with these 2 know that they're going to be beaten by the boys who are competing as girls.
But in those meets, there's no way that one of us biological girls will be able to outrun those transgender athletes.
Yes, it has been affecting track and field in Connecticut, but the door is open there for any sport.
Pretty much. Yesterday I was at work and I was talking to a mother, and she had her daughter there, and her daughter's about my age, or my age, dear God, my daughter's age, and she competes in powerlifting. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so great. Powerlifting, that's what do you do? And she told me, the events. And I said, well, they don't have any boys competing. And she goes, no, not right now. But there are boys identifying as girls competing around the area in different things. And they're just holding their breath that this doesn't happen to powerlifting. This is serious. This is crushing. Because let's think about it. Girls are at a disadvantage in sports, and if there are any group of people who are true athletes who do it for the love of the sport, I don't want to discount boys participating, but girls generally, the best they're going to do in athletics is to win at the high school level, win at the college level, get some scholarships. If you're the cream of the crop, Olympics, maybe WNBA, where you're going to be paid very little. That's it. There's not a lot out there for women in sports, and so you're doing it for a love of the game, and now you've got boys identifying as girls coming in, competing and destroying them. Taking away scholarships, taking away ribbons and whatnot. Here's a little bit more about the story.
We will make America fairer by passing the Equality Act to end discrimination.
That's the federal act that ended discrimination against the LGBTQRSTU community, which ushered in boys identifying as girls competing in girls sports.
Against the LGBTQ community.
It will be the end of girls and women's only sport we make simply gender identity the basis for eligibility for.
Right, you'll have men's sports and you'll have co-ed sports.
It's giving the transgender females the right to compete with biological females, and eventually it's going to get to the point where the biological females will be on the sidelines watching their own sports.
That just kills me.
WTZA.
I mean, that just really kills me. I believe we have hey, Billy Brew, I hear you on the air, man. Billy, I think you're on the air. Go ahead and kill your microphone. Let's go ahead a little bit more from this piece.
HR 5 will affect athletics, and it will change completely the landscape of competition. It will set no difference between a boy and a girl.
And it does it in the state of Connecticut and also 17 others.
And as a result, women will be completely eradicated from sports. It's taking away the opportunity to win for the girls, but in sports that have physical contact could become a serious safety issue.
Yeah, it already is. You heard about the trans athlete, the MMA fighter who cracked the skull of the woman. It's a man beating a woman nearly to death in the ring. Okay? 18 other states have similar policies for high school athletics. The three girls in this case in Connecticut could set a national precedent, according to Christina Holcomb, legal counsel for the Alliance Defending Freedom. The objective is fairness in women's sports. Title IX is there for a reason, not just for all the bat crap craziness, anti-male stuff that's been going on campus. It's to give athletes like Chelsea Mitchell and Alana Smith the opportunity to excel and to be victorious.
With the case in Connecticut, it can be difficult showcasing my talents to coaches from around the country.
This is one of the plaintiffs. She's a girl athlete with the struggles, talking about the struggles as a serious track athlete being destroyed by these two competing in Connecticut who are men competing as women.
As they only look at the results online, they see the first and or second place girl so far ahead of the rest of the girls, and they're going to reach out to and try to recruit those two top girls versus everyone else since they're so far behind in time.
She doesn't go there to become second best. She wants to win. And when that is not even on the table any longer, what is the drive to do it?
There is no drive to do it. Because these girls, as I mentioned earlier, when they pull up to the starting block, they know that they're going to come in second, third, fourth, and all they're doing is competing for third place on. That's it. Here's the wrap on this story.
So I think it's gotten to the point where some girls are starting to stray away from those events and are hoping to go to...
So girls are actually leaving sports, are leaving sports because boys are taking away their opportunities and saying, screw it, we'll just have to do something else.
Other events, so then they actually have a fair chance of winning. And in my case, I have my field event, long jump. That was my safe haven, if you want to call it, where the results were fair no matter what, because it was girls competing against girls. But now, unfortunately, one of those athletes has started to compete in long jump, so now none of my events are safe. It's frustrating when you know that you run your best, and no matter what, your best is never going to be enough.
Unbelievable. Title IX finally being used for what it's used to be, it's supposed to be. But the Democrat Party have gotten in bed with the LGBTQ radical agenda, and now women, who they are supposedly championing with the passage of the Equal Rights Amendment that's been around since 1972, they're suddenly willing to whiz on women in the favor of men competing as women. We do have a call on the line. Hello there, caller. Welcome to WTZA in Atlanta. I'm Rob Carson. Your thoughts?
Hey, am I on with you?
You are, my friend. What's up?
Excellent. See, I've been waiting for somebody to broach this for the last week and a half since you guys came back on the air, and I've come up with the perfect thing. You remember a little story where the ladies, I think they were in Oregon, two white women opened up a taco stand, and it was referred to as cultural appropriation, and they kind of got shut down because they were stealing that. Do you remember roughly that story?
Yes, I do.
How about gender appropriation? Let's use their words against them.
Yeah, man. That's what it is.
Yeah, gender appropriation or sexual appropriation. So what they're doing, if there's appropriation of anything, if you can't live on this planet without doing something that someone else has done and having that considered stealing it from them, then this is gender appropriation, and that's what needs to be put out there.
All right, my brother. More. Thanks for the phone call. Do appreciate it. Have a good one. Have a good one. Yeah, this is insanity. I remember when this debate started years ago about the LGBTQ, and then the 0.0003% of people who identify as another gender are cisgendered. I'm cisgendered, whatever the hell that means. I'm a straight white guy. Sorry. Well, public enemy number one, But this is nonsense, and I remember saying this at the beginning, and it didn't offend anybody then, but now it's 2020. I said it ends very easily. It's a discussion I had with my toddlers when they were little. If you have a pee-pee, you're a boy. If you have a nina, you're a girl. And obviously things have changed to the point that it's just stupid ridiculous. Biologists have proposed a radical concept. You might want to sit down for this. If you're a big believer in the you can identify as anything. I want to identify as a velociraptor. Just for a day. Or an eagle. I think I'd identify as an eagle. I think it'd be kind of cool. So anyway, the radical concept, they're saying there are only two genders. Crazy. A couple of people going to be in trouble with the woke science community. Colin Wright, an evolutionary biologist of Penn State. Emma N. Hilton, a developmental biologist at the University of Manchester, collaborated on an article published in the Wall Street Journal this week. Gasp, shriek. They put forth the revolutionary and highly controversial theory. I mean, that's not being facetious. That human beings are born as one of two distinct sexes, male and female, and no amount of physiological meandering is going to change the incontrovertible medical fact that sex is binary and does not exist on some sort of spectrum. First, they deal with the argument that because roughly 0.2% of the population is born intersex, having some combination of genetic anomalies, resulting in the formation of both male and female sexual characteristics, this means that there is at least a third gender, meaning hermaphrodite, right? Isn't that you got both of them? That would be kind of tough to do. You could spend the entire day telling the male side of your body to give them a honey-do list. It's you really need to. I'm the female part of the body. Today, if you could, just find some time where you take the trash out, take the recycling out. Also, would you do the dishes? And your male side's can I just relax for once? Do I have to get the list from the female side of my body giving me a honey-do list every day? Could you imagine what it would be like? It would be like internally married. It'd be just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The male side of the body is going to say, "Are you really going to wear that?" And then the female side goes, "What are you saying, that I'm fat?" And the male side goes, "No. Listen, I don't care how much you weigh. You're still beautiful. I think you're gorgeous. No, you think I'm fat. Well, no, I don't think you're fat, but I just think that outfit and those jeans, maybe you could do a little bit better." And then the female side goes, "Fine." And then both sides of your female and male self are no longer talking to each other, and you're sleeping in the middle of the bed. One half of you, the male side, sleeping on one side and the female side sleeping on the other. It would be very hard to be a hermaphrodite. It'd be really, really hard to be a hermaphrodite. Can you imagine? It's like the female side saying, let's just get one entree and we'll split it. And the male side going, "Can I have my own entree? If you want the pasta fra diavolo, you can have it. You just get your own and we'll take what's left over. But I, as the male side, I want the steak. I want the steak over here." And the female side says, "Whatever, get what you want. I don't care. You're paying for it." We've got another caller on the line. Welcome to WTZA Atlanta. My name is Rob Carson. Your thoughts, please.
Hey, Rob, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
I'm glad you're talking about this thing with this girls and boys sports. You know, one thing that just recently happened that's really kind of pissing me off is this whole thing with Dwayne Wade and his son, daughter. Have you heard this?
Not sure.
So his 12-year-old son is now identified as a girl, and him and Gabrielle are supporting it.
Oh, yeah.
Being all supportive to his 12-year-old child. Thinks he's the opposite sex.
No. I don't agree with that. I'm going to tell you something. I think that parents who begin to recognize their children living in an opposite sex when they are little children should be candidates for having their children removed from the home. That is, their kids can fantasize about a lot of things. I mean, I used to fantasize about being Superman, and there was one point that I wanted to jump off the roof to see if I could fly. And my parents stopped me from doing it, as I probably told them I was going to do it. But honestly, people who do that and let their children identify as the opposite sex, what you need to do is identify that your child has an issue and probably needs to see some help. You know? That's what I have to say. But thanks for the phone call. Do appreciate it. Here's the thing. Elementary school children, you know what they use their genitalia for? Peeing. All right? That's it. Now, if Billy wants to dress up as a girl, whatever, but it doesn't mean you're going to, a couple of years, I'm going to let you go ahead and start having hormones. Then I'm going to let you mutilate yourself. I'm going to let you mutilate yourself. You got a pee-pee. Let's whack that sucker off. And then when you wake up when you're 18 or 20 or 22 or 24 and you go, oh, my God, I have horribly mutilated myself, and I've made a mistake. That happens all the time. Back to this concept that they're actually real genders, and the biologists who proposed it, they're saying that it's not ambiguous. There's no subjective gender identity. It's not merely an eccentric academic theory. It raises serious human rights concerns for vulnerable groups, including women, homosexuals, and children. Okay. Oh, wow. I got to take a break. A little bit more on this. Your phone calls on it as well. 678-996-1776. 678-996-1776. Rob Carson filling in on WTZA.
Are you from California, Illinois, New York, Georgia, or any of the other 39 states that charge state income tax? Does your state claim you owe them any amount of back taxes? Or have you not filed in years? Is your heart pounding because you know they're wrong or you just don't have the money? Don't fight the state income tax board alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you. The state is much more aggressive than the IRS in collecting taxes. They have the power to take your home, your car, your driver's and business licenses, even garnish your wages, freeze your bank accounts, and go after your spouse. Solve all your income tax problems permanently and keep more of your hard-earned money. Make this 100% guaranteed risk-free call right now.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
Hi, this is Billy Brew, host of Billy Brew Radio. Heard Saturdays right here on my new radio home, WTZA AM 1010 and 102.1 FM, The Talk of Atlanta.
Acres Woods Law understands that the law is personal, and they take your situation personally. Specializing in personal injury and family law with a personal touch. Put them to work for you. Call today for your free consult. 770-428-8880. That's 770-428-8880. Or online at acreswoodlaw.com. AKERS Woods.
Thanks for watching, guys.
2020 is a
I do appreciate it.
Politics and a presidential election right around the corner. After a banner year in the stock market, do you know the 5 investments that you should be making right here in 2020? Is this a year to buy gold, tech stocks, or should you be moving to cash? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get our free guide on the 5 investments you must own in your portfolio for 2020. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now to get the free Oxygen Financial 2020 investment guide and get your portfolio to work harder for you this year.
Hey, it's Akira. How's it going? Back at work and back with a Quick Weight Loss Center program. I first discovered the Quick Weight Loss Center almost 30 years ago, and I was too big. I had to lose 40 pounds, and I didn't think That easy. I lost, I think, 6 pounds the first week or so. People are losing 10 or 11 or 12, by the way, the first week. It's really true. It really happens. The program is so good because now, even when I was out of work and being a stress eater, the old Kimmer would have gained 30 or 40 pounds just from eating stupidly. But now with a quick maintenance program, it's so easy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Feeling great, eating exactly what I want, as much as I want. And by the way, we got a treat for you, too. It's a specialized program. Individually for whatever I need, that's what I get. The Quick Weight Loss Center. And all this week, so services are only $9 a week. Right now, all services only $9 a week. Call them 800-404-4050. 800-404-4050. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Make an appointment and keep the appointment. On the web, check them out. QWLC.com. QWLC.com.
Greece is cheap, but the airfare is a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer. And again, airfare.
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it.
Puerto Vallarta.
Anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations.
So you see this right up here? If you guys want to order this T-shirt and others, just go to tpublic.com, conservatees. Okay? Got some Kansas City-centric designs up there, really fun.
Anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low.
Ed, I do want to come back to Columbia. I was going to have some lunch with John Odd and Dave Bauer and some of the principals at what was KARO FM, where I started my radio career. And when I do come in, let's go. Let's go have a slice of pizza at Shakespeare's.
298-0306. 800-298-0306. That's 800-298-0306.
You know, after diet and exercise, saving more money, making more money, and paying off debts are 3 of the biggest New Year's resolutions. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now to get a copy of our Amazon best-selling book, The 21-Day Budget Cleanse. In just 3 weeks, we can help you get a leaner budget, a fatter wallet, and a bigger net worth right here in 2020. Learn our tips on how to stretch your paycheck further.
I can't do any kamikaze shots yet. I don't drink anymore.
Right now, and set up a free consultation.
I would have a cigar, though.
Oxygenfinancial.com right now.
Would have a cigar. It is Valentine's Day. I am Rob Carson. This is my last day on the air. This week, anyway, I guess I'm technically auditioning for the role as talk show host on this radio station. And if you like what I'm doing, I hope that you will express that to management, because I freaking want to work here. I'll just tell you right now, I want to work at this radio station. I want to work with my buddy Shannon and Kara and Jim and Kimmer and Mike, all of those guys. I would love to be a part of this lineup. And I promise you one thing: every day I will deliver you an awesome product. That is not only I hope leading edge as far as just the amount of content I bring, but also the digestion of the subject matter and intelligent matter, and being able to relay it to you in a serious and sometimes humorous way. How's that? Okay. So I hope you will vote. If there is voting to be done, I hope you'll vote for me. That would be really, really cool. So back, just a couple more things on the transgenders competing as female. So male athletes competing as women, girls, destroying the hopes of girls at least in the state of Connecticut, happening all over the country. Nike has joined a group of businesses signing a letter to support to defeat a Tennessee bill which would prevent biological male athletes from being able to compete against girls. The letter, sponsored by 142 businesses in the state, claims that other states will retaliate against Tennessee if it passes laws to prevent biological boys from competing as transgender girls. The resulting actions by outsiders will be bad for Tennessee's business. And you know what I say? Screw you, Nike. It's time to fight back against this dangerous idiocy. And it's time to stop being bullied by the radical LGBTQ community. I have plenty of gay friends. I actually officiated a lesbian wedding. I've been to a gay couple's wedding. I had no problem. By God, if two people want to suffer as much as the rest of us in marriage, then even if they're the same sex, go for it. Actually, what I tell my kids is the soul doesn't have a penis or a vagina. And if you're willing to commit yourself to somebody for life, that's not my business. It's not my business. And if it's a sin, they're going to burn in hell, and let God handle it after it's over. But in the meantime, get married, love each other, spend your lives with each other. If you're Pete Buttigieg, get on a swing together with your husband. Whatever, I don't care. I don't care. But you're not going to compete against my daughter in powerlifting if you're a dude. Oh, also, a Republican-dominated committee voted down a South Dakota bill outlawing transgender medical treatments on children. So they were going to do it. This is how stupid it's gotten. Is that they voted down a bill, House Bill 1057, deeming it illegal for doctors to perform gender-affirming operations or surgeries, in other words, mutilations, or prescribe hormone replacement treatment or to assist gender transition for anyone under 16. Why? Because it's asinine. It was it would have been a class 1 misdemeanor, a year in jail, $2,000 maximum fine. So you can cut somebody's penis off, but Roger Stone can go to jail for 9 years. What would be outlawed in the legislation? Are you ready for these? I've never heard half of these. Castration, we've all heard that. And we all kind of go through that when we're married. Vasectomy, haven't done that yet. My wife wanted me to do it. Hysterectomy, orfectomy, addictomy, metoidioplasty. I don't know what it is, but it sounds painful. Orectomy, penectomy. I think I know what that is. Penectomy, phalloplasty, phalloplasty. Yeah, vaginoplasty. I have an idea what that is too. Vaginoplasty. Performing a mastectomy on children. Prescribing, defensive, administrating, or otherwise supplying the following medications: puberty-blocking medications to stop normal puberty, supraphysiologic doses of testosterone to females, supraphysiological dosages of estrogen to males, removing any otherwise healthy or non-diseased part of the body or tissue, which means pee-pee and boobies. Conservatives in other states, South Carolina, Florida, Missouri, Colorado, Illinois, Kentucky, New Hampshire, are pushing similar proposals, and all states should. LGBTQ advocates and Democrats argued that the proposal would have stopped children with gender dysphoria from receiving medically necessary health care that improves their mental health. No, they have a problem with their mental health, and they want to go get their pee-pees cut off and their boobies cut off, and they want to, go through all this crap. So it's the opposite of that. It's the opposite of the truth, which is not uncommon for Democrats. Let's move on, shall we? Why I could talk about lopping off boobies and penises all day. There's plenty of other things to focus on. And again, I got married 22 years ago, so I technically have gone through several of those procedures, just metaphorically. Leftists at the University of Virginia dictating who and who is not allowed in the new Multicultural Student Center. So there's a new Multicultural Student Center, and this has allowed some people to be overtly racist. Like this person who is an African American walking into the multicultural space and seeing that there were some white people there.
Public service announcement. Excuse me. If y'all didn't know, this is the MSC, and frankly, there's just too many white people in here, and this is a space for people of color. So just be really cognizant of the space that you're taking up, because it does make some of us POCs uncomfortable. When
she's a POC. That's a person of color. I think she's a POS.
You see too many white people in here. It's only been open for 4 days, and frankly, there's the whole university for a lot of y'all to be at, and there's very few spaces for us. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
Well, I think you... Yeah, there you go. Idiots applauding the racist there. The racist walking in and telling that all you white people have to leave. And it's okay. Could I identify as a black person then? That's what I just say. Hey, dude, I'm black. I'm identifying as a black person here. So, no, you got to leave. Okay, then I'm a transgendered black person. Okay, you can stay. Oh. I'm going to save this for next hour. HGTV, which my wife and I watch. Okay, I watch it. It brings us together. I find it to be the least insufferable thing that I can watch with her. Chick flicks, can't do it, just can't do it. She tried First Wives Club the other night. I said no. She binge watches Grace and Frankie, which has the insufferable Jane Fonda on it and Lily Tomlin. And I just can't. I can't. She could say, Rob, if you watch it with me, I'll give you 4 apologies. I said, no, I don't. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. HGTV, I can watch it. I like Property Brothers. My wife and I are Chip and Joanna Gaines. We are. We're just not billionaires. But HGTV had a throuple on, a threesome. 3 people together raising children. They're looking for a house. I'm going to share that. Oh, and by the way, we're talking about the rights of women, okay, and how that these 4 Connecticut girls are suing the state of Connecticut because boys, men are competing as women, saying that they are women and consequently winning all the state track meets. And it's destroying girls' lives. It's destroying their possibility of getting any sort of scholarship. It's destroying their records. They're coming in 3rd place, 4th place, 5th place. They're realizing that they can't take 1st and 2nd place because they are occupied by men competing as women. And the Democrats are all behind the LGBT community boys competing as girls. They're cool with it. And yet at the same time, they're pushing for ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment, which came around in 1972. The amendment proposed in 72. Originally had a ratification deadline of 1979. That is passed. They bumped it to 1982, and now they're wanting to extend it a little bit more. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is saying, no, we just need to start the whole thing over. I'm saying, do we really freaking need it anymore? Because I don't believe we need it anymore. But because the Democrat Party is living in the past, the Democrat Party has to create some sort of crisis. Women have to be victims and all of this stuff. It has suddenly come to the fore that women cannot live successfully equally in this country unless the ERA amendment, which is 48 years old right now, is revitalized and passed. Here's Nancy Pelosi.
Today, by passing this resolution, the House is paving the way to enshrining Equal Rights Amendment in the Constitution. The era will achieve justice for women and achieve progress for families, for our children, lowering wage disparity, increasing paychecks.
Okay, by the way, there is no wage disparity. It doesn't exist. Women frequently choose jobs that pay less. Men choose higher risk jobs. All right? The only places where women are paid a lot less generally are in Hollywood, thank you very much.
Moms can pay for their family's needs, such as rent, groceries, child care, health care, and the ERA will strengthen America.
And passing this amendment's going to do all that, sure.
It's not just about women, it's about America. The ERA will strengthen America, unleashing the full power of women.
No, women already have unleashed their power. This is a non-starter. They always say that women only make 60% of what men make. If that's the case and I owned a business, I wouldn't have a single frickin' guy working for me. If I owned a McDonald's, to be like, no dudes allowed because I got to pay them 40% more. I can hire girls for 60% less. So I'm going to just go ahead and fill my workplace completely with women to save 40% of my labor costs. BS.
In our economy and upholding the value of equality in our democracy. I have 4 daughters, 1 son.
That's great.
2 granddaughters.
It's sad that you bred.
Yeah. I can't even imagine how anyone could think of his or her daughter not having equality.
They do, and they can do it without the amendment. Okay, they can do it. And anytime women are discriminated against, there are laws. Representative, Presley? I can't remember her first name. Representative Presley is in support of this and basically saying that in today's society, women are still shackled. Women are still shackled, according to Representative Presley. Let me find. I've lost my cut. Hold on 1 second. I should have it in just 1 second. Representative Presley, cut number 9. Okay. I don't have it right in front of me. Oh, Ayanna Presley. Here it is. Ayanna Presley on women being shackled in America today.
The great poet and pioneer of righteous rage, Audre Lorde, once said, quote, "I am not free while any woman is unfree, even when our shackles are very different from my own."
Okay, 2020, women are still shackled. Democrats are claiming women, which are more than half of the population, are victims.
End quote. The year is now 2020, and here we women are, still in so many ways, not fully free. Still shackled. Today, I rise to affirm the humanity and the dignity of all women. I rise in strong, unapologetic, righteous support of H.J.
Self-righteous.
79, which will strike the arbitrary deadline for ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment.
Okay, again, you're pandering. First of all, you're saying that women are victims, which you love to do. Everybody's a victim except for straight white guys like me. Although, let me identify as a woman. I'm a woman now. Okay, so now, you sympathize. Okay, I'm back to being a dude. All right, so coming up, we've got a bunch of stuff, including, the worst Valentine's Day date ever. First time, you won't believe the story. Also, a throuple comes to HGTV. A little bit on the Democrat panic over Bernie Sanders being the candidate. My name is Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA, the voice of Atlanta.
Why do you think bank presidents and jewelry store owners trust ADT to protect their homes and businesses? Because they feel safe, and you can too. How would you like to monitor your home from fire, floods, and yes, robberies without even being there right from your smartphone?
I'm going to go pee.
That is peace of mind. You may even save money on your homeowner's insurance just by having an ADT system installed. And there's even a money-back guarantee. How about that? We guarantee 100% satisfaction. You have nothing to risk. Why do you think people who have so much to protect trust ADT? Because it works. Call right now for a free quote. We'll even give you a free gift for calling. So pick up your phone and call Protect Your Home, an ADT authorized premier provider now.
800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. 800-561-3405. That's 800-561-3405.
Acres Woods Law understands that the law is personal, and they take your situation personally. Specializing in personal injury and family law with a personal touch. Put them to work for you. Call today for your free consult. 770-428-8880. That's 770-428-8880. Or online at acreswoodlaw.com. AKERSWoodsLaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Oxygen Financial Studios, this is the Talk of Atlanta, WTZA Decatur, Atlanta, 1010 AM and 102.1 FM. I'm Randy Wiles. The Supreme Court of Georgia has accepted an appeal in the Ryan Duke murder case. Duke, one of two men arrested in connection with the death of Irwin County High School teacher Tara Grinstead from October 2005. Ryan Duke and Bo Dukes were both acquainted with the teacher. After their arrest in February 2017, Bo Dukes confessed early on and was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Ryan Dukes originally confessed, but now says he was high on drugs when he made that confession. Virginia Democratic Senator Joe Manchin says he could potentially endorse President Trump for re-election. This comes just a week after Manchin voted to convict the president during the impeachment hearings. Manchin, a conservative Democrat who often sides with Republicans, was the only Democrat to vote for Brett Kavanaugh to become Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Manchin has also endorsed Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine for re-election. In fact, Manchin is on record for having voted with Republicans 56% of the time. Actor Josh TKO Turner, who has appeared as the tattooed savior in a number of episodes of The Walking Dead, was arrested in Tennessee on an outstanding warrant for assault in Oregon. By the way, in case you thought you've seen this guy somewhere else, well, there's a good chance. In addition to his appearances on The Walking Dead, Turner is also a pro wrestler and has trained with the WWE. Sunny today, look for high of low 50s, getting down to below freezing by tonight. From the Oxygen Financial Studios, I'm Randy Wiles, and this is the Talk of Atlanta.
Hey, it's Akira. How's it going? Back at work and back with a Quick Weight Loss Center program. I first discovered the Quick Weight Loss Center almost 30 years ago, and I was too big. I had to lose 40 pounds, and I didn't think it would be that easy. I lost, I think, 6 pounds the first week or so. People are losing 10 or 11 or 12, by the way, the first week. It's really true. It really happens. The program is so good because now, even when I was out of work and being a stress eater, the old Kimmer would have gained 30 or 40 pounds just from eating stupidly. But now with the Quick Weight Loss Center, my maintenance program, it's so easy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Feeling great, eating exactly what I want, as much as I want. And by the way, we got a treat for you, too. It's a specialized program individually for whatever I need.
I got a sick daughter in the other room.
Center. And all this week, so services are only $9 a week. Right now, all services only $9 a week. Call them 800-404-4050. 800-404-4050. Tell them the Kimmer sent you. Make an appointment and keep the appointment. On the web, check them out. QWLC.com. QWLC.com.
Putting off the honey-do list is no longer an option, but there's still time to get those home renovations done with Chase Remodels. Hey, it's Shannon Burke, and these are the guys I'd call. Jonathan and his team have what it takes to keep your project on time and on budget. You don't want your out-of-town relatives to come and see that 1971 bathroom, do you? Call them today at 678-654-3485 or online at chaseremodels.com. It's 678-654-3485. Tell them I sent you and get an extra 15%
Are you old enough to remember?
When a man falls out of your boat and into the water, you should yell, "Man overboard." Now, what should you yell if a woman falls overboard?
Full speed ahead.
If so, tune in Saturday at 2 p.m. to the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast. This week, we expand to a 2-hour format as we discuss your favorite game shows. Lots of clips and fun. That's the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast, Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Talk of Atlanta, WTZA 102.1 FM, 1010 AM, and talkofatlanta.com.
The Secure Act was the biggest retirement bill to pass in 10 years. What does this mean to you and your family in 2020? Do you know why you should never inherit an IRA again? Do you know how it affects you when you have a new baby and the major changes it has for your 401k plan? Go to oxygenfinancial.com and get our free guide on the Secure Act here in 2020. Isn't it time you figured out how to save more money in taxes this year? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get your free 2020 Secure Act guide today.
Red River runs through me.
It is Friday. My name is Rob Carson, and filling in this week, I guess technically auditioning for this slot. And if you like what you're hearing, please tell the powers that be. I think I'd love to work here. I really would. I'm enjoying my time here. I hope you are as well. Jam-packing the show with tons of stuff to get to. The throuple on HGTV. Polygamists could no longer face jail time in Utah. Worst Valentine's Day date ever. All of that coming up. Just a little bit here. Democrats are terrified of Bernie Sanders winning the nomination. Okay, if you think they aren't, you're high. Democrats were terrified of Bernie Sanders winning the nomination when he ran the last time, and Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party saw to it that he was taken out. And he took one for the party, which is not a pretty picture. But he did take one for the party, and he ended up supporting Hillary Clinton. But one of the things, of course, that he insisted on was that all campaign appearances he had to be flown to by private jet. And I'm not joking. That was one of the things. Now he's just flying in first class in private jets. But he was screwed out of it last time. And now they're terrified. They're still terrified of Bernie Sanders becoming the candidate. In anxious huddles around the Capitol, apprehensive Democrats sharing their worries at Sanders' socialist label and unyielding embrace of controversial proposals like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal will repel voters in the affluent moderate districts that flipped House control in 2018 and in closely divided states where Republican senators are vulnerable. Well, you know what, Democrat Party, it's a little too late for that, isn't it? Because you've been towing this line for 3 friggin' years with this president. You've been towing this line for years about Medicaid for all. You've gone all in with leftism and socialism. And guess what? Come on, man, roll the dice. If you think this is what America wants, I don't recall any Democrats saying that the Green New Deal was a bad idea, even though it's absolutely idiotic. The Vermont Independent narrowly won New Hampshire Tuesday on the heels of a strong showing in Iowa. I'm a proud capitalist, said freshman Ben McAdams, the Democrat of Utah. Pointed contrast with Sanders, McAdams, who was supporting former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, said that a liberal like Sanders atop his party tickets would probably give more opportunities to show my independence from the party. Another freshman from a district, Tom Malinowski of New Jersey, said Democrats need a presidential nominee who doesn't scare all of the future former Republicans more than Trump scares them. Okay, in other words, they're scared. Now, Nancy Pelosi was doing her very best yesterday to say that, there's nothing to see here. Everybody's just calm and cool.
I hear you all say, we're all in a panic, the established Democrats. I'm like, is there some establishment that I don't know about around here? Who are we talking about here? Because we respect the process. The people will winnow the field. Members will make their endorsements as they see fit.
And we'll do our very best to kick Bernie out and cheat like we did the last time.
On their own, in their own communications with their constituents and with the candidates.
And if they vote for Bernie, we will retaliate.
As they choose. So we're calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah,
this is not just because some people may be speaking out about not liking one candidate or another. That's the Democratic way. That's politics. It's a messy business. But this is
you like you care about the Democratic way. Democrat judges have Republicans rubbing their hands in delight. It's every Republican's dream come true. Republican Tom Cole of Arizona says of a Bernie Sanders win. Representative Amy Barra, Democrat, California, who's endorsed Biden, instead of Sanders were nominated. Democrats from moderate districts might actually have to run away from our candidate, our nominee, to get elected. It's highly unlikely that Bernie Sanders will moderate his views. He won't. Do you know why he won't? Because he has people like this working for his campaign. Project Veritas. This is Mason Baird, a Bernie campaign worker in the state of Iowa.
A lot of the stories we're told in the United States about, the gulags and the persecution of the kulaks and things like that are exaggerated. We certainly don't have a straight perspective on that stuff here.
He says that the gulags in the Soviet Union, we don't have a good perspective on them. They were actually good. And several other people, who I'll get to in a second, feel the same way. And yet Bernie Sanders didn't remove them from his campaign. Do you know why? Shh, don't tell anybody. He's not a Democrat socialist. He's a communist.
America. I canvassed with someone who's like an anarchist, and canvassed with someone who's more of a Marxist-Leninist.
I'm an anarchist. I campaign with a Marxist-Leninist.
So we do we attract radical, like truly radical people.
Yeah, you do.
To the campaign.
And they're still working for the Bernie campaign, including this guy who wants cities to burn if Ronald Reagan. Wow, that was a Freudian Republican slip. If that was wow. If Donald Trump are reelected.
So if Trump gets reelected, what?
Cities burn.
Cities burn.
The only thing that fascists understand is violence. So the only way that you can confront them is with violence.
The only thing fascists understand is violence, so we confront them with violence, which is a fascistic thing to say, and you're the fascist, and no Republicans are fascists.
It's a directive from Bernie that we can't attack Warren.
I think it's also fair to point out that when we were in Moscow, for example, people here also were extremely impressed by their public transportation system.
Yeah, the transportation system to the gulags where people died in re-education camps was absolutely spotless. It was spotless. And here's Kyle Jurek, a Sanders worker, just loving the hell out of Cuba.
Guys like that. What are we going to do with them? Gulag.
Gulag for people who disagree.
Liberals get to fucking wall first. What are we going to do with those people that resist the change? Because that's a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. In Cuba, what do they do to reactionaries?
They shot them on the beach.
Shot him on the beach.
You want to fight against the revolution? You're going to die for it, motherfucker.
Okay, there you go. If you fight against the revolution, you'll die for it. Mother effer. The still DNC chair after Iowa, Tom Perez, says that there's no ideological divide. There's no ideological divide in the Democrat Party.
Is it, or will it be Bernie Sanders who can tap into that broad base, that fundraising base that he has, and keep this going as long as anyone is standing? How do you bring the party together across this ideological divide?
Well, I think the real thing that folks understand is that what unites us far exceeds what our differences are. There's no ideological divide on the need to ensure that people with
then I suppose you are all for gulags and murdering people on the beach if they disagree with you.
Existing conditions to keep their health care. There's
a whole bunch of Sanders supporters who believe that.
Ideological divide about the need to ensure that we hold pharmaceutical companies accountable so that we can lower the cost of prescription drugs. There's no ideological divide on the need to make sure that one good job should be enough. The differences between the
two good jobs are better, though.
Democratic Party candidates and Donald Trump, whoever the nominee is, are 100%.
Except that he's united the party. It's now the Trump party. He's got incredible advantages in terms of his online presence.
And he's going to kick your butt in 2020.
Machine he's collected.
Yeah.
And you've got a divided party with... Well, let me put that to rest, and let me just ask you one quick question at the end. Is it time...
Okay, so Andrea Mitchell just completely switched gears on that in the middle of the... She's trying to... No, it's completely divided. But and then she just... she bails. She bails. Probably somebody from the Democrat Party standing behind the camera doing a slashing with the finger across the throat thing. And she's realized that she had stepped outside of the Democrat talking points and could be endangering her life. All right, today is Valentine's Day. Worst Valentine's date ever. Shelby Sampson, she's online. She's looking for love in all the wrong places. And so she meets a guy online in Attleboro Falls, which is Michigan. And so she hooks up with Christopher Castillo. And Christopher Castillo and Shelby Sampson, he arrives and picks her up, and actually, she picked him up. That's not a good sign. So apparently, no, actually, I'm wrong. No, she did. She picked up Castillo in her Nissan Altima from his parents' home in Rhode Island. Okay, so here are a couple things already going wrong with the date. He's saying, hey, I really like you. My name is Christopher Castillo, Shelby. And, hey, let's go on a date. She says, okay. And he goes, hey, can you come and get me? And she's like, sure. Yeah, I've got a Nissan Altima. I'll come over. And he goes, hey, would you mind picking me up from my parents' house? Because that's where I live. Sure. I mean, it's 2020. I guess that's, is that, okay, is that cool? Okay, yeah, I'll come and get you at your parents' house. Whatever, I guess she's so desperate. Anyway, she's 40 years old. He's 33. And apparently he said, hey, man, I need to stop by the bank real quick here. Do you mind pulling up to the bank? And she goes, oh, no. And she's probably thinking, hey, I know I picked him up in my car and picked him up from the parents' house. But, he's stopping at the bank. Maybe he wants to get a little money. So he's going to take me out to a nice dinner. Yeah. Girl's like, all right, come on. Who says chivalry is not dead? And he comes out and he gets into the car and he says, just effing go. And she's like, what? He goes, I mean, go. Put your foot on the gas and go. Because, he robbed the bank. He went in and, and he robbed the bank. Apparently, he came back to her. He was sweating, carrying a hat. Also reported wearing sunglasses, had a gun and some cash on him, and said, just effing go. She's like, oh, well, that sounds good. I mean, that sounds good. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Bonefish Grill? I mean, do you want to go to... Just go. I don't care. I just don't care. Okay. She spat off, but saw the police lights, quickly exited the vehicle where authorities detained Castillo. Basically, the guy Castillo went into a bank, showed the teller his gun, which you're not supposed to do. Because that's an armed robbery. That's a much worse sentence. So he's going to go to jail for a long time. If he just walks in and has a mask on and just pretends to, then, no big deal. So he goes in. He says I'm really hurting. I need some money. I'm on my first date. And teller's like, oh, it's your first date. That is just so neat. Hey, here's $1,000. See you later. No, actually, he said, here's the money. Just take the money and run and don't kill me. That said, he runs out, gets in the car. Charges apparently have been dropped. Authorities determined that the gun was an antique owned by Castillo's stepfather. He has been charged with carrying an illegal firearm That charge has been dropped, apparently. Castillo is said to have spat on officers, but eventually told them the gun was not loaded. So, it ain't armed robbery if the gun ain't loaded. No, it is. Oh, this is another kind of bank-related, not necessarily robbery-related, but there's a woman, and her name's Amanda Ullman, Dearborn, Michigan, and she's got a weakened immune system, and she's terrified of the norovirus, or coronavirus, and she decided to wear a non-traditional surgical mask because it's more eco-friendly. So what it was is a big black mask with scary-looking fangs on it, and she goes, a mostly covered face, and she goes into the bank with this surgical mask that looks kind of like a ski mask, but with large, dangerous fangs on it. Looked a lot like Venom from the Spider-Man series. Looked a lot like Venom, covering the face except for the eyes. And, of course, the bank people not too thrilled about it. Here's the report from Dearborn, Michigan.
All I want to do is protect myself with a mask, and I'm a criminal.
Amanda Ullman is upset after what started as a normal errand to the bank ended with a visit from Dearborn police. Ullman says it's because the teller told her to take off this face mask, and she refused.
She jumps on the phone after she pushes this button, which I assume is the panic button.
Whatever happened to just putting pantyhose on your face?
And I hear this.
That's what robbers used to do.
Giant locking sound.
Cell phone video.
You could even just take a piece of tape and tape your nose up like some people do. You couldn't even recognize the people.
Taken by her boyfriend shows Ullman locked in the bank, keeping her cool until police arrive. Ullman says she and her family are wearing masks as an extra precaution. She has a compromised immune system and gets sick easily.
And I do every year. I do catch, unfortunately, if it's influenza A, B, strep throat. When I heard everything about the coronavirus, it scared me.
In a statement,
but not half as scared as the bank teller was when you walked in wearing a black mask with fangs like Venom, Spider-Man's nemesis on your face.
Bank says, we regret any inconvenience caused, but it's bank policy to request brief removal of anything blocking the face for the safety of our employees.
What did you say? You have a gun?
And clients. But Ullman claims no one from the bank mentioned feeling scared or intimidated by what the mask looked like.
Nothing about design. Absolutely nothing about freaking them out in anything. They just kept saying that it was for their protection. And I don't understand what my mask has to do with their protection.
Ullman left after speaking with police.
Key Bank cannot get away with treating customers this way. You cannot lock your customers in a bank.
Yes, you can when you wear a mask that looks like something you'd wear to rob the bank. I'm sorry. All right. My name is Rob Carson. We're going to take a break. My buddy Christian Toto, Hollywood insider, movie critic, and conservative. I know, weird. Going to talk about a couple of things. Jim Carrey's misbehavior, saying that there is one person he'd like to do on his bucket list, a woman he was being interviewed by. Best movies of the 20th century so far, and all sorts of a sundry Hollywood crap. But from a conservative perspective, coming up, my name is Rob Carson. You are listening to WTZA, the voice of Atlanta.
Are you from California, Illinois, New York, Georgia, or any of the other 39 states that charge state income tax? Does your state claim you owe them any amount of back taxes? Or have you not filed in years? Is your heart pounding because you know they're wrong or you just don't have the money? Don't fight the state income tax board alone. The tax doctor is here to help you. The state is much more aggressive than the IRS in collecting taxes. They have the power to take your home, your car, your driver's and business licenses, even garnish your wages, freeze your bank accounts, and go after your spouse. Solve all your income tax problems permanently and keep more of your hard-earned money. Make this 100% guaranteed risk-free call right now.
800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. 800-605-4650. That's 800-605-4650.
Advertise with us. Call 404-304-4783. You can also email us at tim@talkofatlanta.com or chance@talkofatlanta.com. Again, that's 404-304-4783.
2020 is a huge year for politics and a presidential election right around the corner. After a banner year in the stock market, do you know the 5 investments that you should be making right here in 2020? Is this a year to buy gold, tech stocks, or should you be moving to cash? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get our free guide on the 5 investments you must own in your portfolio for 2020. Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now to get the free Oxygen Financial 2020 investment guide and get your portfolio to work harder for you this year.
Ever dry waterproofing? It's not dry till it's ever dry. If your basement's damp, don't take a chance. Call Everdry
Waterproofing.
If your crawl space is wet, one call and you're set. Call Everdry Waterproofing. Call Everdry today. We make the moisture go away. Go to EverdryAtlanta.com. Okay. Everdry Waterproofing. It's not dry till it's ever dry.
Hi, this is Billy Brew, host of Billy Brew Radio. Heard Saturdays right here on my
All right, here we go.
radio home, WTZA AM 1010 and 102.1 FM. The talk of Atlanta.
Hey, it's the Kimmer. How's it going? Back at work and back with a Quick Weight Loss Center program. I first discovered the Quick Weight Loss Center almost 30 years ago, and I was too big. I had to lose 40 pounds, and I didn't think it would be that easy. I lost, I think, 6 pounds the first week or so. People are losing 10 or 11 or 12, by the way, the first week. It's really true. It really happens. The program is so good because now, even when I was out of work and being a stress eater, the old Kimmer would have gained 30 or 40 pounds just from eating stupidly. But now with the Quick Weight Loss Center, my maintenance program, it's so easy. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. Feel
recognized to stop people taking his powers.
And we did not work. There's something about the posture. Yeah, I really, it's been a long trip in order to get to a place where you not only appreciate the fact that there's a lot of people who love you, but you look at them coming up and saying hello.
And in the film,
QWLC.com.
A lot of people who love you, but
Rob Carson filling in on WTZA, the voice of Atlanta, having a great time. Hope you are as well. Having it's been so good to be on this radio station that brought some of the best voices on radio back to the air. Mike Brooks, Jim Gossett, Shannon Burke, the Kimmer, Kara Stockton. It's a glorious thing, guys. It's people saying, you know what, enough with this giant corporate radio crap. Trust me, I've been the victim of it a number of times. And the previous station they worked at that I had auditioned for and done some air time on, 106.7, was purchased out by the Begging for Jesus people. And there were people who said, you know what, hey, I want to get these people back on the air. And so consequently, this wonderful experiment is happening, and we hope you'll support it. We really do hope you'll support it because it's pretty darn cool. All right. Again, my name is Rob Carson. On the phone is a friend of mine, Christian Toto. He is he has a website which is called Hollywood in Toto. He is a conservative. He is a Christian in Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we got Christian on the line. Hello, Christian. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Long time no see.
Absolutely. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Thank you. I got your bouquet. It's beautiful.
Lovely. I just got it. Thank you. All right. So let's talk a little bit. I think first and foremost, I want to mention, because I think I might disagree with you on the Jim Carrey thing. The other day, Jim Carrey did an interview with, and her name was, and I thought it was kind of interesting. Her name is, her last name is like Charlotte Long for Heat Magazine. And she asked Jim Carrey about his role in Sonic the Hedgehog, and he asked what was on his bucket list. Here's what he said:
You look at them coming up and saying hello.
And in the film, Sonic has a bucket list, and I was wondering, after all you've done in your career and in your life, is there anything still left on your bucket list?
Just you.
Oh, wow!
That's it. It's
okay. So now, Christian, you're saying that was creepy.
Yeah, but I mean, the interpretation was he likes her, thinks she's attractive, like a check mark on his book. I mean, how are you interpreting it? That's what I thought.
Here's the thing. The way I took it was, and when you want to do things on your bucket list, that if you're on the bucket list, that means I want to do you, right?
Right.
That's what you think. To me, he was doing an interview with her. And he said, basically, he's checked one off by doing the interview with her. So I didn't think he was necessarily terribly creepy, although I don't like Jim Carrey as a person. I love some of his shows. So I didn't necessarily feel that way. But I understand where you're coming from. What sort of fallout? Has he gotten a lot of fallout about this whole comment thing, or is it just kind of going away?
I sense it's going away. I sense his politics will serve as a shield for him, where if it was, Dean Cain, the apology tour would have already commenced.
Yes.
But I think what you're saying, I hadn't thought of that. I think that's possible for sure. Yeah. But listen, I think people should be given the benefit of the doubt in these situations, but often they're not.
Yeah. I want to move on real quick just before we move on from the topic, because I want to talk a little about the fallout of the Oscars and the down ratings and all that stuff, and I want your take on it. Sonic the Hedgehog gets 65 from Rotten Tomatoes and says that Jim Carrey actually stole the show. Have you had a chance to see it?
I haven't. A good friend of mine who's also a film critic saw it and liked it and was rather surprised that he did. Listen, no one is denying that Jim Carrey is an extremely talented fellow, can do drama, can do comedy. He's one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's just that his off-screen persona has gotten bitter and toxic, and it's a shame.
Yeah. So the Oscars last week, I did watch the Oscars. My wife wanted to watch the Oscars. I watched the Oscars with her. She said, if you watch this with me, it's worth 2 apologies. And I said, okay. I will do it. The Oscar ratings were off by 6 million people. Is this because people are kind of sick of woke Hollywood?
It is. And, I think even for left-of-center viewers who may agree with the politics coming out of Hollywood, I don't think they want that on that night. They want to celebrate movies and glamour and movie stars and the whole experience. And you don't get that anymore. You get a lot of woke apologizing. You get the speeches, and it's deadly dull. I mean, no show should be 3.5 hours long, no matter how wonderful it could be. No. Nothing should be that long.
I thought it was kind of funny that when we went to Oscar night, you had in the best actor and actress category all white people and an Asian guy, which was the same as the breakdown of the Democrat candidates at the same time before the New Hampshire primary. Go ahead.
That's part of the thing in play in Hollywood. And what Hollywood did on Oscar night is they flooded the screen with people of color. I have no problem with any of the people of color, but they're trying to overcompensate and say, hey, we're not racist, we're not racist. Yeah. Look how many people of color on this specific night. But the bigger problem is that representation in Hollywood is imbalanced and has been for a while, and you can't fix it by giving a bunch of speeches and putting a bunch of people of color in front of the camera for one night. It's got to be real change, and heaven forbid we think about conservatives in Hollywood and how they're represented or the lack thereof.
Christian Toto, I'm talking to him. He has a website called HollywoodandToto.com. He's a conservative in Hollywood, also a Christian in Hollywood. I did think it was kind of funny that the Oscars did throw a bone to a woman actually who got to conduct the orchestra for one song for the first time in the Oscar history. I thought that was what a groundbreaking moment that was, to let a woman conduct one song during the ceremony.
Well, it's funny. I mentioned all the people of color on stage.
Yeah.
Well, there was a whole outcry on Twitter when they had Eminem come up and sing a song. Oh, they got a white rapper to sing a song. Because when you're doing sort of the counting up the people of color and being woke and being socially aware, it's never enough. No. It's never, ever enough. I mean, whatever you want to say about the night, they did the best they could to make it as diverse as possible, right?
Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough.
I did think, I thought Eminem's song was great because that song from 8 Mile has inspired a hell of a lot of people, black and white. That was my workout song forever. I mean, that's a terrific song regardless of your color.
Oh, I agree. And listen, it's people were moving in their seats. It was fun. It was a little nostalgic. Listen, it's not from the '60s, but it's an older song by now. So I had no problem with that. And it should be, the night should be fun. It's about entertainment. It should not be about people wagging their fingers at us and saying, "Don't drink milk."
Yeah, and I want to mention also, I saw an article a couple days after the Oscars that said, basically questioning is celebrity dead, and I don't think so. However, it is greatly impacted by celebrities who have no talent whatsoever. We have at least one billionaire in one of the Kardashians, the youngest one, just by posing with side boob in her bathroom, sitting on the vanity, she's made $1 billion with no talent whatsoever. Is this kind of a death knell for the traditional Hollywood celebrity?
It's complicated. The movie star, in a way, is dead in that there's no one actor who guarantees fannies in the seats. It just doesn't work that way anymore. But we still care about them to a certain extent. We still follow them to a certain extent. I feel like the whole world is obsessed with Brad Pitt reuniting with Jennifer Aniston. I don't know why, but we think about that way too much. So the mystery, the aura of the celebrity, that's what's really gone because of the internet, because of all these interviews, and because they often are rather aggressive and ugly in their messaging.
I saw a list the other day of highest paid actors and actresses in Hollywood, and basically the top 10 are owned by guys. In both categories, women are lower paid in Hollywood, and this makes me wonder if Hollywood, in fact, is sexist, or if it's like professional sports. People don't go see the WNBA. People in the WNBA don't make tens of millions of dollars. Is it because men have a higher gross at the box office, or is there legitimately sexism at the heads of studios in Hollywood?
Well, if you look at women in Hollywood, once you hit 40, the roles often dry up.
That's true.
So that's part of it.
Yeah.
Listen, men are more suited in a way into action movies. Listen, there's plenty of female action heroes, but generally speaking, over the years, the men have kind of ruled the action movie roost, and those movies make the most money. So there's a lot of different things, but it's an issue for sure.
Yeah, it is. I saw a list the other day, and I thought it was kind of interesting because we just went through a century of movies, the first full century of movies last century. And I saw this list that came out. Empire Magazine did the list of the top 100 films from this century. Okay, from this century, from the last 20 years. And on top of the list, and I got to tell you, I'm a little torn on this one. Did you see the list, Christian? Is this?
I didn't know.
Okay. Number one on the list is Mad Max Beyond, Mad Max Fury Road. Okay. Lord of the Rings, Dark Knight #3 moves on to Inception. Some movies, Whiplash is number 13. Inside Out is 18. I was really surprised. La La Land 24. I didn't start to see some Tarantino stuff until like 27. I think number 2 on the list should be Django Unchained, followed by Inglourious Bastards. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, number 53. Brokeback Mountain, 54. Shaun of the Dead, Training Day. There are tons of them. What do you think of, what's your favorite movie from the last 20 years? I know it would be a very difficult question to answer for the last century or of all time. Surely you can think right off the top of your head your number one film for the last 20 years.
Boy, that's a really tough question. I love Joker, but I don't know if it's number one.
Yeah.
Some of the films you mentioned are outstanding. I thought Whiplash was great, but I don't know if I'd put it in my top 10.
Yeah.
I would need time. I kind of give those lists a lot of respect. I think you should really think about them. But I will say that most of the names you just mentioned are pretty deserving. Brokeback Mountain I liked a lot. I don't think it's in that list at all.
Yeah.
But Dark Knight, my goodness, that's such a good movie. It's so I could watch it again and again. And I'd say The Dark Knight Rises would be in there for me as well.
Yeah, Django Unchained is number 59. That's my second favorite movie of all time. And then Inglourious Bastards, and probably now Goodfellas. I got to agree with the Mad Max. I think it's a stunning, beautiful movie, and I think the acting was tremendous. There were no F-bombs in it, too. That was kind of weird. Loved it. Now, The Irishman, which come in 28th on this list, was shut out at the Oscars. Explain. I have my own thoughts on it. What are your thoughts on why that movie was shut out?
I think we were all supposed to love The Irishman. The whole gang got back together again, and Scorsese doing mobster stories. What's not to love? And I think it is a good film. I don't think it's a great film. It's not a film that I walked out of and I thought about it for the next 3 days, which is what usually happens for me when I watch an amazing movie or something that just really stirs something within me. I didn't get that. So it deserves to be nominated. There's lots of great performances there, but I didn't think any one element jumped out at, oh my goodness, this is amazing. That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Now, Christian, I've known you for a number of years. I've had you on various shows around the country. I'm interested to know how your movie viewing habits have changed with the emergence of the streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, the new Disney one, which we have. We got several of these things. How have your movie viewing habits changed with the advent of these streaming services?
Two things. I mean, I think I will sample a movie, then move on pretty quickly just because there's so much content out there.
Yeah.
But I have to say, as a movie critic, what I'm noticing lately is that I'm kind of giving my all to the new movies and trying to consider them and think them through. When I'm home and I have my own choice, I kind of want to watch a B movie, a grindhouse movie, a horror movie. I almost need to kind of unplug and just enjoy it and not think too much about it. Yeah. And I don't think the streaming revolution has impacted that. It's more just my gig. Mm-hmm. Listen, it's a fun job to have, but that's generally speaking. But I will say with streaming, I'm finding a lot of movies that I never would have considered or never heard of before. Yeah. These movies that are really small, no budget, no stars, and I give them a chance, and they're good.
Yeah.
So, there are surprises out there, and that's wonderful.
Yeah. What's your guilty pleasure? You were mentioning grindhouse movies. Is there a movie that most people would go, really? That you really love?
Starship Troopers people love, and I'm on board with that. I'm trying to think of a bad movie I like. Anything zombie. I'm almost always on board with that. And even like a B movie, like a 80s horror movie with bad acting and creepy special effects, I'm usually in.
We watched, there's the two Zombielands. Are there just two?
Just two.
Okay, there's just two. We, in the last week, have watched both Zombielands. I've seen them. But the one is just a great movie.
It is.
I just love Woody Harrelson is just fantastic. That first opening scene is just a ridiculous gore fest. It's like the closing scene in a Tarantino movie, right at the very beginning of the movie.
And I think that horror comedy is a great combo when you get it right, and it's not easy. I go back to Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh my God!
If you didn't do that, Shaun of the Dead, American Werewolf in London, and of course Zombieland.
Last night, my daughter and I watched the first Scary Movie. And it's exactly that. And even by that movie, I think was 2000. And you look at it, there's so much that is now beyond politically correct. But it was glorious. We both watched it last night. Even though my daughter is a Gen Z member, she thinks it's hilarious. Anything worth seeing this weekend at the theaters?
There's a new movie out called Downhill with Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
It's decent. It's not great. This is kind of a quiet time at the movies, by the way.
Yeah.
Usually January, February, they don't really kind of release the big blockbuster types. Birds of Prey is out there now. Again, it's okay. It's not one of the best superhero adventures, but if you like some of the stars, including Margot Robbie, you could do worse. I'll mention there's a movie called The Battery. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's a micro-indie zombie film about these two buddies. They're baseball players, and they're trying to survive the undead revolution.
Love that.
I kind of like it. Again, lower your expectations. It takes a while to get going, but if you're looking for kind of a sleeper, I'd recommend that one.
Would you recommend seeing Parasite?
Listen, it's the best picture. You got to check it out.
Okay.
It's flawed. I think it's overrated, but it is interesting. And if you do see it, don't read about it. Go in there as fresh as possible because there's a lot of surprises.
All right, finally, I'm going to make a confession to you, and I feel kind of bad about it because I've known you for years. Last year, for the first time in my life, I went an entire year without going to see a movie at the theater. And
You're not alone.
I feel kind of dirty about it because I normally like it, but maybe it's part of it's just being busy, and maybe it's just so much to see at home,
Yeah, it's the one thing I hear the most from anybody just talking about movies. Yeah, I don't go to see the movies that much anymore.
Yeah, well, this makes sense because a lot of people just would prefer to watch an NFL game at home rather than going and paying $12 for a Bud Light.
Yeah.
So anyway, Christian Toto, I appreciate your time today. Great to hear from you. For those of you who want to follow you online, why don't you give us your information, my friend?
Sure. The website is HollywoodInToto, TOTO.com, and the Twitter handle is @Hollywood in Toto.
All right, Christian, if I get this full-time gig at this glorious radio station, you will be on this radio station all the time, okay?
Love it.
All right, buddy, take care. Thanks. All right, Christian Toto, HollywoodandToto.com. Really make it a favorite because he's a really cool guy. I respect what he has to say, and that he is a Christian conservative in Hollywood. And so I just love listening to him. So anyway, I'm Rob Carson, back with the final segment of this radio program in a second on WTZA Atlanta.
Hey everyone, I'm Samuel Johnson, the insurance fighter. Here's the tip of the week for the drivers out there. There's been a lot of rain and a lot of flood warnings.
A lot of flood warnings.
Tips for you to stay safe. Number one, it takes about 6 inches of rain to hydroplane or stall. Tip number 2, watch for down power lines. Tip number 3, check your tires. Bald tires causes you to hydroplane. Tip number 4, slow down. The best tip I can give you is that one. Slow down. This week we'll be talking about battery on FM 102.1 or AM 1010. We're here every Saturday from 11 to 12. You can watch our live stream on social media at Samuel Johnson and Associates. That's Facebook and Instagram. You could watch our partner accounts on Planet 11 and RC Media. I am the insurance fighter. Your injury is my fight.
Hey everybody, Brooksy here. You know I'm a big gun guy, and you've heard me talk on my show about the attack on our Second Amendment rights in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Well, I tell you one place that's not going to happen here in the state of Georgia.
Hi guys.
And also,
watching on Facebook.
Gun. They will take
Are you
care
having fun?
of all your firearms.
I'm having fun. Don Kenna Johnson.
To
Hi.
5711 Highway 53
Good to see you, Kenna.
Dawsonville, Georgia. And
Amy
find
and
them
Sarah.
on Dawsonville
Kenna, tell Mikey I said hi, will you? I hope you're enjoying retirement. I hate both of you that you're retired because I've still got about another 15 years.
Are you old enough to remember? When a man falls out of your boat and into the water, you should yell, "Man overboard." Now, what should you yell if a woman falls overboard?
Full speed ahead.
If so, tune in Saturday at 2 p.m. to the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast. This week, we expand to a 2-hour format as we discuss your favorite game shows. Lots of clips and fun. That's the Nostalgic Pop Culture Pop Blast, Saturdays at 2 p.m. right here on Talk of Atlanta, WTZA 102.1
WTZA Atlanta.
And talkofatlanta.com.
The Secure Act was the biggest retirement bill to pass in 10 years. What does this mean to you and your family in 2020? Do you know why you should never inherit an IRA again? Do you know how it affects you when you have a new baby and the major changes it has for your 401k plan? Go to oxygenfinancial.com and get our free guide on the Secure Act here in 2020. Isn't it time you figured out how to save more money in taxes this year? Go to oxygenfinancial.com right now and get your free 2020 Secure Act guide today.
Advertise with us. Call 404-304-4783. You can also email us at tim@talkofatlanta.com or chance@talkofatlanta.com. Again, that's 404-304-4783.
Ever try waterproofing? It's not dry till it's ever dry. If your basement's damp, don't take a chance.
Call EverDry Waterproofing.
If your crawl space is wet, one call and you're set.
Call EverDry Waterproofing.
Call EverDry today. We make the moisture go away. Go to EverDryAtlanta.com. Okay. EverDry Waterproofing. It's not dry till it's
ever dry.
First met my wife, Laura. Yeah, she asked me if we should exchange phone numbers. Yeah. I said, wouldn't that make it kind of hard for people trying to reach us?
It's Saturday Night Live with the Newsmaker Line Comedy Show. Saturday, March 14th at the Swan Coach House in Buckhead. Featuring comedian Jim Gossett and the crew from WTZA, the new Talk of Atlanta. For more information, visit newsmakerline.com or call 678-829-SHOW.
All right, it's time for the final segment of this here radio program before I turn it over to Mike Brooks and Jim Gossett.
We would meet up every Tuesday.
And then, of course, the Kimmer and Jim Gossett once again. It is so good to be here. I want to thank you guys for listening. And we still have one more segment, so don't go anywhere. Because it could get pretty spicy, including a throuple appearing on HGTV's House Hunters. That's coming up. I want to say hi to the folks who are watching online. I am broadcasting live video podcasting on Facebook. Just look up Rob Carson. You'll see me there wearing a hat, wearing on a set, a TV set, actually a TV set. And then, of course, you'll see that you can order a T-shirt that says Hillary in 20 Never. I have a line of politically incorrect swag online. Got some great shirts with like war is sometimes the answer. Another one, I've got one, veganism is an eating disorder. You can't coexist with people who want to kill you. There's a whole bunch of stuff. And one of them, it says Hillary in 20 never. Just go to tpublic, spelled with 2 E's, TEE, public.com. When you get there, write this down, tpublic.com. Look up Conservatees with 2 E's. So Conserva, Tees. And you can see about 100 designs there. Get them on the mugs, get them on whatever. It helps me pay the bills. And you could can you walk into I've worn a couple of my shirts to the gym, and it's hilarious. Because I'll wear my Hillary in 20 never. And fortunately, I have an area where there are, there are like-minded conservatives there. It's not a big deal. If it were in D.C. where I used to live, I'd probably get the snot crap, the crap beat out of me. There you go. The snot, whatever the hell. Anyway. Oh, by the way, there was the 34-year-old man has been arrested in New Hampshire. He went after a 15-year-old Trump supporter wearing a Make America Great Again hat. And 2 other adults. This happened in Wyndham. Police said the incident happened Tuesday. This guy was wearing a hat, this 15-year-old, and this guy passed by the tent, slapped the 15-year-old across the face, then assaulted the 2 other adults attempting to intercede. He was also accused of throwing Trump signs and trying to destroy the tent. It's according to the boy's mother, Kathy Campbell. This is happening all over the country, by the way. Yeah, another day, another hate crime against Trump supporters. Okay, so my wife and I watch a lot of HGTV, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's and it's what's really weird. I'm a middle-aged guy. That's cool. We've been watching HGTV for a number of years, and they're just good shows. And there's the surprise element, when the couple finds their they see their newly decorated house, and and the property. I can't stand the Property Brothers, but anyway. Because they're not really a realtor and they're not really a contractor. They're just models. I know, I hate to tell you. They don't know anything about selling houses or building houses, because otherwise, why would the guy wear a 3-buckle diamond-studded utility belt? I mean, you're sure. Yeah, you're a contract. Sure you are. That said, there's a show called House Hunters, and I'm not a big fan of the show because all you do is follow around a couple and they look at 3 houses. And then they choose a house. Should I ruin it for them? They already have chosen the house, actually. They find these people who've already bought a house, and they show them 2 other houses. And then they ultimately have already made up their mind, but they act like they're considering the other. I didn't want to say anything, but that's just the truth. Then there's House Hunters International, which is even worse. Because the houses are really tiny and they suck. And everything there is like IKEA. Like the IKEA kitchen that's the size of a shower. And you're like, oh, well, which hellhole will they choose? Will they choose hellhole number 1 for 1,200 euros? Or they will charge, whatever. No, House Hunters International is awful. It's just yuck. That said, Brian and Laura were looking for a house. And they thought they'd bring along Angela. Do you know why? Angelica. Because Brian and Lori were married in 2002 and have 2 children, Jake and Isla, 10 and 12. And they're raising them with Angelica, who's known as Jelly. Why? Because they have a throuple. All right, so they've got a throuple. I think when my wife and I first dated, I suggested we try that, and I think I was met with consternation. And a slap upside the face, I think, actually happened right after that. Here is the promo for the HGTV throuple on House Hunters.
What is this? Our bed won't even fit. Okay, this does not work for a throuple. It's a weird room. I don't want our bedroom to be a weird room unless we make it weird.
Well, it is kind of weird because you're a throuple.
Texans Brian, Lori, and Jelly do realize there's nothing conventional about them.
We're a throuple. It's a relationship that's 3 people, not just 2.
Good things may come in 3s, but it's making them...
And for a while, 2 women and the happiest guy in the history of mankind.
Colorado house hunt 3 times as difficult.
3-car garage!
It's a 3-way fireplace.
3 sinks would be amazing.
He said 3-way fireplace. Get it?
Does that even exist?
No, it doesn't exist.
It's every woman and or
3-way fireplace.
Man for himself.
This is a nice big space. And there's bunnies in the yard?
Or herself. Or herself.
This is what I'm talking about. I kind of like it.
Do you suppose that, when they're intimate, it's kind of like that tag team wrestling where, one of them just goes, here, and it holds the arm out to the edge of the ring, goes, here, tags him in. Do you suppose?
That's not a win. That's not a win. It's not give and take. It's give, take, or give, take.
Okay, there you go. That's the House Hunters throuple. Brian, who is in sports marketing, explained that he and Lori married in 2002 and have 2 children, and they're raising them with jelly. I understood from day one, even when we were dating, that Lori was bisexual and interested in men and women. And so we evolved to the point that we were comfortable having another woman in our lives. See, you know what? It's always good until you become Ross Geller from Friends. And eventually you're just going to, you're going to be pushed out of the picture. Jelly is a legal videographer. Insisted she wasn't looking to be part of a throuple when she met Brian and Lori at a bar. Said, I didn't plan on being in a relationship with a married couple, but it just kind of happened very naturally. While Jelly isn't legally married to Lori and Brian, he stressed that they are committed to each other and are all equals in their relationship. They left their children with their grandparents in Texas while they stayed in a vacation rental looking for the new home to start out the new chapters in their lives. The past 4 years, I've been living in Lori and Brian's house, so buying a house together as a throuple will signify our next big step as a family of 5 rather than all 4 of them plus me, said Jelly. As House Hunters fans are well aware, it's hard enough for 2 people to agree on a home they want, let alone 3. Oh, those silly throuples. Jelly admitted that dealing with 3 different wants, needs, and clashing personalities would make it finding a home more difficult. Now, of course, people on Twitter reacted in different manners. One said, this new House Hunters features a throuple, HGTV storming into 2020. Another one said, I was legit about to change the channel until I heard throuple. You have my full attention. This from a guy named Bert who lives with his parents in the basement of his home. Actually, not really sure. But anyway. And then, of course, there are the people who not so big on it. I'm watching HGTV House Hunters, and there's a throuple looking for a home. I'm disappointed in @HGTV or #HGTV for promoting this is normal. Another one said, wow, @HGTV. It's @ and then there's the hashtag was before. Anyway, I can't believe you aired an episode of #House Hunters with a throuple. I've been watching your channel and House Hunters every night for years, and this made me change the channel. I'm disgusted you decided to air this, and I won't be watching HGTV again, wrote another shocked viewer. HGTV spokesperson, or could be a guy, could be a girl, not sure, Chelsea Riemann, said, we feature all homebuyers and living choices. Okay. Polygamists may no longer face jail time in Utah. A new bill aiming to decriminalize it for consenting law-abiding adults. So apparently that's going on there. 30,000 polygamists living in Utah. 85 years after plural marriage was declared a felony in the state. So, yeah, there's some issues there with, children and whatnot. Yeah, I don't know. I never understood it. I never understood wanting to be married to more than one woman. More than one person. Just me personally, I'm just saying because I'm a straight man and I got a wife. But I mean, could you imagine the list of stuff you'd have to do on the weekends when you got 4 or 5 women there with you? You know, it's like, hey Susan, yeah, what do you got on the list this week? Okay, you want to do laundry? Okay, let's see, Sarah, yeah, what do you got there? I know the bathroom shelf needs to be moved, but listen, honestly, Jenny, she wants me to work on the patio furniture and power washing the deck. Can I just any? And Susan, what? Okay, I realize that we need to put a motion detector in the outside garage light in front of it, but I got enough with Sarah and what's her name? I don't remember. I'm married to so many women. I don't want to be married to many women. I don't want to be married to a bunch. No. And guys, here's where the throuple idea. I think many guys would say, I'm up for a throuple, but like not move in together. Anyway. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Saw a little article about Valentine's Day. Might be interested. Because my wife the other day said it was a made-up holiday, and I was like, yes, it's a pass. I got to pass. She goes, it's a terrible holiday. I said, oh, God, it sucks. And I'm like, oh, it's a pass. Yes, finally a pass for Valentine's Day. No, it's not. It's not. It's a way of saying that it's really no big deal. You don't need to get anything. But if you don't, come on. You're going to be sleeping with the third person of the throuple and not the, whatever. Anyway, so I did get her something. But Valentine, in case you wanted to know, lived in 270 AD under the rule of Emperor Claudius II, apparently. And Claudius decided to outlaw marriage because he wanted his soldiers ready for battle, and they couldn't do that if they were doing honey-do lists all weekend, because you got to go off to war and you got to do laundry and power wash the deck. You can't be doing the chariot at the time. I guess you power wash the chariot. Anyway, he didn't want them to be returning home to their wife and kids when they got to fight. All right? So that's where the romantic St. Valentine came in, started performing marriages in private for young lovers, according to this article. Lewis explained that Emperor Claudius II soon found out that St. Valentine's secret marriage ceremonies and sent him to jail to be executed. Before St. Valentine was executed, he fell in love with a prison guard, the prison guard's daughter, who would visit him in his cell. No telling if those were conjugal visits. From his cell, St. Valentine actually ended up writing the first Valentine as we know it, and signed it "From Your Valentine," which is a term that we still use today. And he also did, instead of conversation hearts, he did conversation pieces of dried meat, I think, that were available at the time. Roman priests displayed early signs of matchmaking actually during the festival of Lupercalia, which preceded Valentine's Day. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Anyway, I hope you have a great Valentine's Day and all that stuff. If you liked what I did, I would appreciate you tell the powers that be, Will Regan being one of them at the radio station. I would love to do this full time and become a part of your lives on a weekly basis. If you want to write me personally, carsonontheradio@gmail.com. If you want to follow me on Facebook, it is at Rob Carson or Rob Carson Show. And of course, subscribe to me on YouTube at Rob Carson Show. 2020 is the year we live in. It is no longer hindsight. Do not fall backward, fall forward. God bless you. And I will see you again soon on 1010 AM and 102 FM WTZA, the voice of Atlanta. See ya.
Acres Woods Law understands that the law is personal, and they take your situation personally. Specializing in personal injury and family law with a personal touch. Put them to work for you. Call today for your free consult. 770-428-8880. That's 770-428-8880. Or online at acreswoodlaw.com. AKERSWoodsLaw.com. Hey.
All right, sorry about that. Guys on Facebook, thanks for watching me today. I really appreciate it. Getting back on the air means more to me than you'll ever know, and that I was able to do it in Atlanta is fun. I hope you enjoyed the show, guys. If you get a chance to, you can call WTZA and you can tell them that you want me to be hired. That would be greatly appreciated. In the meantime, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Rob Carson Show, okay? I got to go to work. God bless you guys, all of you who are watching today, Jeremy and Kenna and everybody. Take care of yourselves. Happy Valentine's Day. See ya.